From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby repeats denial of allegations that PNP representatives received funds from the KSAMC.
Any money Mr. Rowe received from a member of my administrative staff were not public funds from the KSAMC or any other public source. Those funds were privately raised.
But in another leaked voice note, Mayor Swaby can be heard saying he took deliberate action to help the PNP win in central Kingston and protect his own political skin.
I have tried in my way to help to gel the things together. Even Christmas, I said something to give them. I'm going to do it deliberately so and I go to the cabinet and say, me want in a position because they're from the border and we can talk to them.
Auditor General threatens to surcharge the accounting officers of the municipal corporations if they persist in failing to get their accounts in order.
JLP veteran Tom Tavares Finson says PJ Patterson is brazen, shameless and disingenuous in criticizing the Holness administration.
The main suspect in the brutal rape and murder of 14-year-old Price Johnson is charged for her killing.
In news from the rest of the world, Eastern Caribbean Court to hand down ruling on vaccine mandate case in Trinidad and Tobago.
U.S. President Donald Trump again insists his country will take control of the Gaza Strip.
In headline sports, Dr. Kishore Shallow to decide in the coming days if he'll seek a second term as Cricket West Indies president.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, former Prime Minister PJ Patterson has offered a scathing assessment of the Holness administration's stewardship of the country's road network, health system, and what he described as the alarming levels of poverty in the country. The Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, will respond.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to PJ Patterson's criticisms of the Holness administration? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says the funds distributed to PNP representatives last December were not from the KSAMC or any other public source. But there are fresh questions in light of leaked audio from December last year. You'll hear the audio recording of the mayor of the capital city.
From 7 to 8, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight we'll be looking at the Love Bush.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, February 11, 2025.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Popcorn Chicken, now available in hot and spicy. Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's new hot and spicy Popcorn Chicken. KFC, it's finger licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The KSAMC PNP corruption scandal is deepening. Another damning voice note has been leaked, and the Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says the funds distributed to PNP political representatives last December were privately raised. He says the funds were not from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the KSAMC, or any other public source. He told the corporation's monthly general meeting today that the funds were raised privately through PNP-led initiatives and efforts. He did not disclose this in his first media statement on the issue earlier on January 31 this year. Khaleesi Wright reports.
Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby and the PNP have been under pressure since news of the alleged misuse of funds was first made public by Nationwide News on January 29. The allegations are based on WhatsApp messages and voice notes between then PNP caretaker for Central Kingston Lawrence Rowe and the party's General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell. The conversations included Rowe complaining to Dr. Campbell that he had received only $300,000, while other PNP representatives had received more. Mayor Swaby responded to the allegations in a statement on January 31. He stated then that municipalities do not disburse cash. He also stated that the KSAMC did not authorize or facilitate cash disbursements to any individual. Mayor Swaby also asserted that if any such transaction took place, it was not sanctioned by the corporation and did not involve public funds. At the corporation's monthly meeting today, Mayor Swaby again denied the allegations that the KSAMC used public funds to support the PMP in election campaign activities. According to him, any money handed to Lawrence Rowe was privately raised.
I wish to clarify that any money Mr. Rowe received from a member of my administrative staff were not public funds from the KSAMC or any other public source. Those funds were privately raised through party-led initiatives and efforts. This is not an unusual occurrence, as is a norm for individuals and organizations to contribute to political parties during the Christmas. No funds from the KSAMC were used to bolster the political support of any candidate in any division or constituency. For the record, the KSAMC does not disburse cash to individuals, and any suggestions to the contrary is categorically false.
Mayor Swaby says Mr. Rowe was wrong in assuming the $300,000 he was told to come collect was for political purposes.
Based on the contents of the message, I can only assume that the money referred to is a $2.7 million allocated to each of the respective divisions. These money include a portion from the KSAMC Divisional Allocation Fund, as well as money allocated by the ministry. Clearly, Mr. Rowe wrongfully assumed that the money being considered being spent in these divisions were for political gain. Those funds were a legitimate allocation from the KSAMC and the ministry, designated for community initiatives in the absence of an elected councillor.
Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
And there are questions this afternoon about the sincerity of Mayor Swaby's latest statement about the growing scandal at the KSAMC. This in light of leaked audio from late December last year, in which he's heard telling an unidentified man about how he had spoken to several individuals and helping some others in his bid to ensure that Central Kingston is won by the PNP's candidate come election day. We have more in this report from George Davis.
In the leaked audio to our news center, Swaby uses the word money once, but he uses the phrase gel the thing together and grill up the thing to suggest he has taken deliberate action to help the PNP win in Central Kingston and save his own political skin. Our sources say the audio was recorded on December 31, 2024. Here is what the mayor and the chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Andrew Swaby, was heard saying about his efforts to prevail upon certain named individuals to reward him later for favors he would do for them now. Listen carefully as Mayor Swaby speaks about his deliberate actions.
I have tried in my way to help to gel the thing together. I talk to Charmaine, I talk to Charmaine's sister, I talk to other people in that constituency. I want even tell her, say, for me, go this with the sports team, I keep on Angela over 3 dinner. And me and Bull and them and I talk. And in a my little way, I try and help them. That because I say, boy, if when the time come, I can't, if they don't need for me talk to them, I can't talk. Even Christmas, I help them, you know. Even Christmas, I send something to go give them. And I do it deliberately so, and I go through the car and say, me want in a position for us, boy, then they put me bother, and I can't talk to them.
So who is this bull, Mayor Swaby? Is he the reputed Don from Top Road in Central Kingston? Mayor Swaby goes on to explain to the man he's speaking with that the reason he has taken deliberate action to help certain people in Central Kingston is because he has seen those people act in a certain way when other men gave them money. He then says that both he and Audrey took a deliberate look at how best to help certain individuals in Central Kingston.
Me know the role within the play when other man come on and get them. That's why me that try to say, let me talk to them to make sure, say, we will grill the thing up, then can't say, PNP now, PNP in our mind.
Yeah.
So, and everything me do, a man can say, me talk, me do, me help in the Christmas, me go far and wide. You understand me? Come here, all the sit down, I will look for it like I said, ABC, we know, we target Central Kingston to win. We know that. I mean, I look for a who I run, I look for and say, me want PNP win. And my backside of the door when we have an MP and a Central Kingston The border, them come closer to me. There are more than one interest. Why me want Central Kingston? You know?
Mayor Swaby did not identify the Audrey he referred to in the clip. Who is this Audrey, Mayor? And what role does she play in helping you decide how to allocate resources that come through the KSAMC? Based on how he mentioned her, it would appear as if that Audrey is known to both himself and the man with whom he was having that conversation on December 31 last year. Nationwide News reported earlier that among the allegations made by former PNP caretaker in central Kingston, Lawrence Rowe, is that a member of Mayor Swaby's administrative staff told him to collect $300,000 cash from the KSAMC. Rowe was told that he was at liberty to spend the cash as he saw fit, but that this gift to him was not for public knowledge. The name of that staff member at the KSAMC who communicated that message to Lawrence Rowe on December 17, 2024, Audrey Smith-Facey. George Davis for Nationwide News.
And in a swift response, former PNP caretaker for Central Kingston, Lawrence Rowe, says Mayor Swaby's denial of allegations that the KSAMC, under his leadership, has been distributing public funds to PNP political representatives lacks credibility. Rowe made the claim in an open letter to Mayor Swaby. He posted that letter to his Facebook account just after 4 this afternoon. Rowe wrote that given the gravity of the issue and the public interest surrounding it, he's declaring that at no time was he ever advised that funds received by PNP political representatives, including himself, in December last year were party resources. Rowe says, in fact, any monies which PNP representatives received from Party Central are collected at the PNP's Old Hope Road headquarters. In a stunning revelation, Rowe said the funds collected over the Christmas season by PNP political representatives were collected on the compound of the KSAMC. Mr. Rowe says he's therefore seeking Mayor Swaby's response to a raft of questions. These include whether the allegedly privately raised funds the mayor speaks of were indeed documented in the PNP's financial records. He's also asking whether Mayor Swaby formally advised the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, of the expenditures, and if so, in what capacity. Rowe says Mayor Swaby must also tell the country whether there were other PNP caretakers who received funds in the same manner as he did. The former PNP caretaker is also challenging the mayor to provide documented evidence of the approval and disbursement of the sums which he told the KSAMC meeting today had been allocated to each division.
In other news now, Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis is threatening to surcharge the accounting officers of the municipal corporations if they persist in failing to get their accounts in order. The threat comes as the majority of corporations have been found to have their financial statements years behind. Shalois Michael tells us more.
In the Auditor General's annual report for 2024, 10 of the 14 municipal corporations were flagged for accounting concerns. Chief among them was a lack of sufficient appropriate audit evidence. At Tuesday's meeting of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, PAC, lawmakers questioned Pamela Monroe Ellis why no punitive action has been taken. The Auditor General says the nature by which the accounting officers should be held responsible is a surcharge. However, Mrs. Monroe Ellis says thus far that recommendation has not been made because many of the issues fall outside the allowable period.
There is an avenue to hold accounting and accountable officers to account through the surcharge procedure of the FAA Act. The FAA Act has a timeline on the period within which a surcharge proceeding can be instituted. It has to be 3 years. And the only reason I've not made any recommendation to the Ministry, to the Financial Secretary for surcharge is because the years that we are dealing with here falls outside. Now, this is one of the dangers of not submitting statements on time, because the time elapses and we cannot hold to account those who we should be holding to account.
She told the PAC that she's given a stern warning to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, Marsha Henry Martin.
I did in a meeting with the permanent secretary once, and I'm sure I may have written it to say that the moment I can recommend that surcharge, once we're within that 3-year period, I am going to make that recommendation. And I think that should go for all accounting officers, because it is true for the appropriation accounts as well. The law is very clear on that, and it does not give the Auditor General an option. It says the Auditor General shall, so it's not that I, at my discretion, determine whether I should report this municipal corporation versus another, no, or any other entity. It says the Auditor General shall, once it says he is unable to account for the expenditure.
The various municipal corporations say they're moving to bring their books up to date through the rollout of a unified information technology system. However, Mrs. Monroe Ellis says this will not be enough to ensure proper compliance.
We have to also consider the real issues in terms of how the municipal corporations, how the accounting staff account for the information, completing a cash book, having evidence of the journal entries made, having securing payment vouchers. We see where payment vouchers, the explanation given, they got wet. Hurricane come, they got wet. They never secured them. And when they are returned, one complained that the records were sequestered. When they were returned, then they became infested. Rats and other pests, wreak havoc on it. We have to now consider how we go about securing the accounting record. And whereas the IT system should help with the efficiency, if those fundamental issues are not addressed, what we're going to hear down the line is that the IT system failed.
Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 17 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Homeowners Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
Continuing the news, the St. Andrew South Criminal Investigation Branch, CIB, has charged a man for the brutal rape and murder of 14-year-old Price Johnson. Charged with multiple serious offenses, including murder, is 38-year-old Imani Naya Linda. He's an unemployed resident of Crescent Road, Kingston 13. Johnson was sexually assaulted and bludgeoned with a hammer at her home in the Palm Grove apartment complex on Spanish Town Road in St. Andrew last Thursday. Johnson was taken to hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. Linda has also been charged with housebreaking and wounding with intent. The wounding occurred following Linda's attack on a male who attempted to come to the child's assistance. He was hit in the head by Linda in his bid to escape. Police say following investigative efforts, Linda was apprehended at his residence on Sunday, February 9, with assistance from his relatives after he had not been seen over the weekend. He remains in police custody as the investigation continues. The police say the case file will be submitted to court, which will determine the court date.
JLP veteran Tom Tavares Finson has blasted former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson over his recent criticisms of the Holness administration's stewardship of the country's affairs. The former Prime Minister slammed the government's management of the economy, roads, healthcare, and alleviating poverty. But Tavares Finson, who is also the President of the Senate, has described Patterson's comments as brazen, shameless, and disingenuous. Mahiri Stewart has this report.
The former Prime Minister's attack on the Holness administration is not going down well in sections of the country. He has come in for heavy criticism online, with hundreds of Jamaicans accusing him of presiding over serious levels of decline in several sectors of the society. JLP veteran and Senate President Tom Tavares Finson has added his voice to the chorus of criticism.
Mr. Pattison must have forgotten that while he was Prime Minister, the unemployment rate was at a record high of 16.5%. Murders spiraled from 414 to 1,674 per calendar year. His PNP presided over the era when Jamaica was officially branded by the international media as the murder capital of the world.
Jamaica earned the unenviable reputation as the murder capital of the world in January 2006. The previous year, the country had recorded a murder tally of more than 1,600. A BBC article at the time quoted Patterson as saying crime remained the country's most pressing challenge. Tavares Finson says crime management was not the only failure of the Patterson government. He says the former Prime Minister should pause and reflect on what he described as that wretched period.
It is unfortunate that he appears to think that Jamaica will forget that it was his administration that promised that Jamaica would be pothole-free by 2003 and failed to deliver. Pattison must be made to recall that his PNP government stewardship was so wretched that it contributed heavily to the meltdown of the financial sector, and one of his own cabinet members confessed that the Pattison administration had presided over the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich since slavery was abolished.
The Senate President has defended the Holness administration's time in office.
The government of Prime Minister Holness recognizes that there is much to be done, but it cannot be disputed that we are steadily making gains in the area of improving the standard of living for most Jamaicans. Indeed, it is no coincidence that the poverty rate is projected to decline to approximately 12%. Murders are significantly trending down, and unemployment levels are at a record low of 3.5%. Additionally, this government from the national budget has made unprecedented investments in improving the road network, the healthcare system, and the results are beginning to emerge.
Efforts to get a comment from former Prime Minister Bruce Golding were unsuccessful. Golding would only say he has retired from politics and would not be drawn back into the fray. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal is scheduled to hand down on Wednesday its ruling in the vaccine mandate case. It's a lawsuit that was brought by labor unions against the Ralph Gonsalves government after hundreds of public sector workers were dismissed in 2021. The workers were dismissed for refusing to take a COVID-19 vaccine. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, the Public Service Union, and the Police Welfare Association funded the lawsuit. In a March 2023 ruling, a High Court judge ruled against the government on 11 grounds. The judge held that the mandate breached natural justice, contravened the Constitution, was unlawful, procedurally improper, and void. The government appealed the ruling, and the court heard the arguments on in May 2024. The Court of Appeal announced that it will hand down its decision tomorrow.
President Donald Trump has once again insisted the U.S. will take control of the Gaza Strip. Trump's comments follow his meeting on Tuesday with Jordan's King Abdullah at the White House. It was their first meeting since Trump announced his plan to take over the enclave last week. As part of the plan, some 2 million Palestinians would be moved to other countries in the region, including Jordan. Earlier this week, Trump suggested he could could withhold aid to Jordan and Egypt unless they agreed to take in Gazans. Jordan, a key U.S. ally in the Middle East, is already home to millions of Palestinians and has rejected the proposal. King Abdullah said a solution would have to be found that is best for everybody. But speaking to reporters in the Oval Office with King Abdullah seated to his right, Trump signaled he would not shift on his idea. Trump also claimed that a lot of jobs would be created across the region if a U.S. takeover of Gaza were to happen.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby repeats his denial of allegations that PNP representatives received funds from the KSAMC.
But in another leaked voice note, Mayor Swaby can be heard saying he took deliberate action to help the PNP win in central Kingston and protect his own political skin.
I have tried in my way to help to gel the thing together. Even Christmas, I said something to give them. I'm going to do it deliberately so and I go to the car and say, me want in a position for us to go identify my border and we can talk to them.
The Auditor General has threatened to surcharge accounting officers of the municipal corporations if they persist in failing to get accounts in order.
The main suspect in the brutal rape and murder of 14-year-old Price Johnson is charged for her killing.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC's Popcorn Chicken, now available in hot and spicy. Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's new hot and spicy Popcorn Chicken. KFC, it's finger licking good.
It's our business to know how much is being spent in what areas from education to healthcare.
From roads to security, because our taxes help pay for it.
So, the national budget is our business.
The national budget is my business.
It is my business.
The national budget is my business and yours.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. Visit the Ministry of Finance's website at mof.gov.jm for more information.
Fall in love with a new Mazda. From now until March 31, drive away an elegant CX-60, a majestic CX-90, or a nimble CX-5 and get a 2-year service package, 1-year free insurance, free license and registration, plus free window tinting. Conditions apply. Give in to temptation. Visit Executive Motors today. Mazda. Love at first drive.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The Jamaica Scorpions are back in action in the West Indies 4-Day Cricket Championship when they face the Barbados Pride at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados, when the third round gets underway tomorrow. The Scorpions started the season with an easy 178-run win over the Windward Islands Volcanoes, but they faltered in the second round. They lost by 5 wickets to the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. The Pride lost their opening game by 10 wickets to champions Guyana Harpy Eagles, but hit back with an impressive innings victory over the West Indies Academy. Meanwhile, the Harpy Eagles and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force will seek to keep their 100% record intact. Guyana will be home at Providence to the West Indies Academy, while the Red Force battles the Leeward Islands Hurricanes at Warner Park. The fourth game in the round pits the Windward Islands Volcanoes against the combined campuses and colleges. That game to be played at Windsor Park in Roseau. Bangladesh off-spinner Shohei Akhtar has become the first female cricketer to be banned for corruption. Akhtar, who has played 2 one-day internationals and 13 T20s, was found guilty of attempting to fix, offering a bribe and failing to disclose full details of an approach to the ICC's anti-corruption code, as well as obstructing the investigation. She has been banned for 5 years from all cricket after she admitted breaching 5 provisions of the anti-corruption code. The charges against her center around an approach she made to a Bangladesh cricketer during the 2023 Women's T20 World Cup held in South Africa. The investigation focused on Sohail's conversation on Facebook Messenger with a cricketer on February 14, 2023. It was a day of the T20 World Cup match between Bangladesh and Australia. She made an offer of 2 million Bangladeshi taka, which is equivalent to $16,400 to the player to get out hit wicket during the game. Now, the player, who was approached by Akhtar, reported the matter to the ACU immediately, providing all the voice notes from Sohail, who had deleted those files on her devices. When interviewed by the ACU, Sohail confirmed that she did send the voice messages to the player, but initially claimed she only did so in order to show her friend that members of the Bangladesh team were not involved in fixing, not because she was genuinely making a corrupt approach. The Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League resumes tomorrow after a 1-week break with 3 games. Former champions Portmore United on 38 points will be home to Dunby Holden at Ferdinand Park, looking to further solidify their 4th place in the standings. 7th place Racing, with 3 victories in their last 3 games, will travel to Effortville to face bottom of the table Humberline, while Tivoli Gardens will be home at the Edward Seaga Complex to face Chapelton Maroons. All games are scheduled to kick off at 3 p.m. Defending champions Real Madrid came from behind twice to beat Manchester City 3-2 in a European Champions League Classic at the Etihad today. Erling Haaland shot City ahead after 19 minutes, but Kylian Mbappe drew Madrid level on the hour mark. Haaland restored the lead for the citizens from the spot in the 80th minute, only for former Manchester City player Brahim Diaz to level for Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham then popped up in added time to give Madrid the advantage going into the second leg of their knockout round playoff in Madrid in 8 days' time.
Guardiola's made a run into the box, and here's Haaland! Oh, he's been waiting for that! And here's Mbappe! He's hooked it in! Real Madrid are on terms! Erling Haaland against Thibaut Courtois. Manchester City lead again. Erling Haaland has scored again. It's Vinicius! And it came back, and that is 2-2, and it's Brahim Diaz, and he's chipped it beyond the goalkeeper, and Bellingham, the final dramatic, painful twist.
In other first leg playoff ties today, Ousmane Dembele scored twice as Paris Saint-Germain defeated Brest by 3-0 in their French derby. PSV Eindhoven lost 2-1 at home to Juventus, while Borussia Dortmund went to Portugal and beat Sporting CP by 3-0. Now, sports are going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you. The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:32.
Labor Rights West Kingston Youth Forum live and direct at the Edward Seaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, this Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Let's interact on how the JLP breaks down barriers to prepare a solid future that hotspot opportunities for all youths in our nation. That is why I vote JLP. Hear from special guest Senator the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, the vibrant West Kingston youths and others. West Kingston Youth Forum this Thursday 5 p.m. at the Edward Seaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School. Hosted by champion West Kingston MP, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. West Kingston Youths active and strong. See you there.
Imagine opening a bank account without ever leaving your home. Well, at CIBC Caribbean, we've changed the game. Open a new CIBC savings or checking account completely online using your computer or phone, anywhere, anytime. No need to visit the bank, no waiting in line. Just apply, verify and sign your documents, all online. It's secure, seamless, and 100% digital. Open your new CIBC account by applying online today.
Yes, it's tax time. March 17 is the due date for your income tax returns. Self-employed individuals are required to file their annual returns SO4 and estimated return SO4A with income tax, education tax, NHT and NIS due and payable on one return. Companies are required to file the ITO2, which is the annual return, and the estimated return ITO7. Visit jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-TAX-HELP for details. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
KFC pop, popcorn chicken. KFC popcorn chicken. Incredible, delicious finger licking in the sauce when me dip it. I can't resist it. Once you start, you can't stop.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Now available in hot and spicy. Try with our new dipping sauces. KFC, it's finger licking good.
KFC popcorn chicken.
The future is here with Infinity Cooperative Credit Union Jamaica Limited. Educom and Gateway have joined forces to bring you more convenience, innovation, and opportunities to achieve your dreams. Enjoy excellent service and seamless financial solutions, all designed for your lifestyle. Whether it's loans, savings, or insurance, we're here to make your financial journey effortless. Infinity Cooperative Credit Union Jamaica Limited, where possibilities are endless.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the Cover Story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes. Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm alright,
Good.
I'm alright.
Alright, so we are turning our attention now to those comments from former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, his criticisms of the Holness administration. Now, at least 3 high-ranking members of the governing Jamaica Labour Party have so far come out condemning the remarks of the former Prime Minister. The Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, the National Security Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, and the Senate President, Tom Tavares Finson, have all taken aim at Mr. Patterson.
Mr. Patterson offered a scathing assessment of the Holness administration's stewardship of the country's affairs. He slammed the administration's management of the island's road network, health system, and what he describes as the alarming levels of poverty in the country.
It's some of the most strident comments against a sitting government from a former Prime Minister, this one retiring in 2006. Here's the report from yesterday. Percival Noel James Patterson was Jamaica's longest-serving Prime Minister. He served from 1992 to 2006. He's also the country's most successful political leader, winning an unprecedented 3 terms in government. With a general election looming, the former Prime Minister has decided to wade into the political arena.
I've been called from the pavilion and I'm pleased to come as an opening batsman to the series which is going to be held in Region 6.
By his assessment, Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his cabinet have done a poor job on several fronts. He started with the state of the nation's roads.
Not even before the days of asphalt, when it was Rockstone Road, have I seen the roads in Jamaica in such a state of dilapidation and disrepair.
The Holness government has defended its stewardship of the road network, pointing to the more than $45 billion in road repairs under the REACH and SPARK programs. Patterson next turned his attention to healthcare. The former Prime Minister says the sector is bordering on complete failure. He took particular aim at the delays at the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
Starting with 1.2 billion and it is now 21.5 billion and mounting, and the hospital is still incomplete. Nowhere else in the world but Jamaica could you have a project like that and not even one head roll.
The former Prime Minister says the Holness administration's boasts of prosperity ring hollow.
Despite all the boast about prosperity and despite the economic indices, there are too many families which simply cannot make ends meet. There is a recent report that shows hunger and malnutrition in Jamaica are at an alarming levels.
Among the economic indices the former Prime Minister references are the lowest unemployment rate in history and the longest period of no new taxes being levied by an administration. Data available from the PIOJ indicate the highest poverty levels recorded in the last 3 decades were under the Patterson administration when it stood at 21.6% in 1996. Patterson says the time has come for a new direction in the country.
We have to change course. We are moving in the wrong direction. The moral order is under siege and the social order in decay. We have to come to the rescue of Jamaica, land we love. Time to restore the precepts of transparency and accountability.
The former Prime Minister was speaking at a recent forum put on by the PMP Region 6. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
So that was Ricardo's report, first aired yesterday in our main bulletin at 5. Well, by this hour, the President of the Senate, a JLP veteran, Tom Tavares Finson, responded sharply to PJ Patterson, describing Mr. Patterson's remarks as brazen, shameless, and disingenuous.
I think that most Jamaicans were startled by the audacity of Mr. PJ Patterson. His recent comments on the state of the Jamaican economy under the Jamaica Labour Party government. I think that persons were startled, particularly since in recent times he has positioned himself as an elder statesman and someone who Jamaicans could turn to for sensible guidance. However, Mr. Patterson has failed those persons who looked up to him. His assessment of the economy is really brazen and shameless. And it appears that he has conveniently forgotten that it was under the PNP government's watch that Jamaica recorded the largest increase in unemployment and murder, the largest increase, in fact, in poverty. Mr. Patterson must have forgotten that while he was Prime Minister, the unemployment rate was at a record high of 16.5%. Murders spiraled from 414 to 1,674 per calendar year. His PNP presided over the era when Jamaica was officially branded by the international media as the murder capital of the world, and the poverty rate was assessed to be at a record high of over 21%. Mr. Patterson seems to have forgotten all of this. It is unfortunate that he appears to think that Jamaica will forget that it was his administration that promised that Jamaica would be pothole-free by 2003 and failed to deliver. Patterson must be made to recall that his PNP government stewardship was so wretched that it contributed heavily to the meltdown of the financial sector, and one of his own cabinet members confessed that the Patterson administration had presided over the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich since slavery was abolished. This was a time when the Patterson PNP policies wrecked thousands of Jamaican lives, destroyed much of the black business sector, but contributed to a company owned by Bunting and Golding, making millions, in fact billions of dollars. The government of Prime Minister Holness recognizes that there is much to be done, but it cannot be disputed that we are steadily making gains in the area of improving the standard of living for most Jamaicans. Indeed, it is no coincidence that the poverty rate is projected to decline to an approximately 12%. Murders are significantly trending down, and unemployment levels are at a record low of 3.5%. Additionally, this government from the national budget has made unprecedented investments in improving the road network, the healthcare system, and the results are beginning to emerge. The contrast, stark as it is, with the People's National Party, PNP's destructive era, where the management of the economy was so poor that there was no room to invest in upgrades to key sectors without borrowing from multilaterals and racking up national debt. If Pattison is the best the PNP had to offer in terms of analysis, this confirms that the Mark Golding-led PNP is bankrupt in terms of ideas to move Jamaica forward. Quite frankly, given the devastating and painful impact his administration had on the quality of life of most Jamaicans, PJ Pattison would best be advised to resume his silence on issues of gains made in the several areas of national life.
Tom Tavares Finson there, JLP veteran and Senate President. Let's go to the break, and after the break, the Health Minister will join us.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall. Our Total Tools. Beat waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand. Total Tools. We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When you say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
When last you get good bun, you don't know good bun until you have a mother's bakery bun. From you pull open the wrapper and it's soft so till. A so bun for nice. And from when you take the first bite, love it so till. A so bun for nice. Beg your piece.
Get your own mother's bakery bun.
I will buy one off you.
Yes, but I will charge a convenience fee.
I will take one.
Me too.
Mother's bakery buns. A so bun for nice. Try them today.
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Homeowners Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
14 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. The Pattison attack and the Holness administration triggering a whole lot of debate and discussion across the country. You heard there the reactions of the Senate President Tom Tavares Finson. We're now going to turn to the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, who came in, yes, for criticism, yes, from Pattison. Dr. Tufton, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Tufton.
Hi, good evening to you and your listeners.
The former Prime Minister says the Cornwall Regional fix supposed to have come in at $1.21 billion. It has now ballooned to $21 billion, and yet not one head has rolled. How do you respond?
So clearly, the former Prime Minister may need to relook at the facts as they have been articulated several times, including in the Parliament, and also in that context, the history of Cornwall Regional and how it became to be the debacle that it is, or was, because it is now being repaired, from as far back as 2009 under the PNP administration, when there were problems with air quality and they were ignored until we took office in 2016. So there's that history and context which was not mentioned. Having said that, though, and for his purpose, and those who may want to believe him, the reality of Cornwall Regional is that the initial assessment of the issues was that we needed to change a ventilator system because air quality was the obvious manifestation of the challenge. People having issues breathing within the building. It was on that basis that the initial amounts were determined. Having done an assessment, and that assessment was done by technical expertise, not just on island, but others coming in to assist, including PAHO, we took a decision as a government not to apply a band-aid approach as was being done under the previous administration, but to literally strip the facility, the building, down to just the concrete, and to rebuild the facility to make it into a brand new facility, which means every single piece of equipment would be replaced as new. That is how the rescoping, which is the correct terminology, not overrun, was done to determine the cost of the facility, and that is what we're doing now.
Dr. Tufton?
The 3 years. Yes, are you hearing me?
Sorry, we just lost you for a second there. Continue.
Right, I was saying a rescoping of the project is a more appropriate and accurate term from the 1.2 billion to the 21, because we took a decision as an administration that the band-aid approach would not work. We needed to rebuild the facility. The added delays, which I fully appreciate the impatience of Jamaican people, were because of COVID, where we had almost 3 years of not doing anything because we were preoccupied, not to mention the restrictions on movement of goods and people, which COVID brought not just on Jamaicans but across the globe.
So you don't accept then that this is a failure of proper project management, which I think is what the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, was indicating.
Right. I go further. I reject it outrightly. I'm not suggesting that the approach was perfect and that everybody's application to solving the problem was perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. But I believe the government did the absolutely right thing in determining that what we needed was a total rebuild of a 52-year-old building, which has a life expectancy of 50 years and which had serious sick building syndrome. And what we did was to build out infrastructure around that main building to accommodate the services of Cornwall Regional, which still is taking place, while we strip the facility down, the main building, to rebuild a new building. And we are now on the final stages of that, and I think it will be money worth spending. I raised one other issue. The per square footage cost of Cornwall Regional, by any comparison with any building in the United States for a hospital, is a fraction of what it cost. And that was even more reinforced to me recently when we had a team from Hartford visiting us who toured the facility and commented that they were in the process of building a hospital in Hartford, and that the square footage cost was in excess of $800 per square foot. The last time I saw the numbers based on the experts, we were building at less than $300 per square foot, as I understand it. So I am comfortable with where we are. I regret the length of time it has taken, but as it relates to the former Prime Minister's assessment and conclusion, unfortunately, I think he's way off base, and unfortunately is clouded by the political hustings that the season has brought on us. And that's unfortunate, because you have to decide what you are. You're either elder statesman or you're a politician on the hustings. And if you're a politician on the hustings, then it becomes open season in terms of the responses, as he has had by myself and colleagues.
He has come down from the pavilion. He's the opening batsman, he says. I want to
that clearly.
Yes, I want to draw your attention to another point of criticism that he levied, or against you in particular. He said the National Health Fund, yes, that you boast about, and the successes under COVID, he says, should largely be attributed to that fund. And he took credit for that fund. He said it came into being under his administration. And so you really don't have much, he was indicating, to thump your chest about, because that was a PMP invention. How do you respond to that?
Again, it's the rhetoric from a political pavilion and a political posture, which I know he knows better. Governments are not static, they evolve. And the very institutions that were created today could be destroyed, as his administration did to several institutions. So apportioning credit to tackling a challenge at a particular point in time because of your historical linkage is foolhardy. And most Jamaicans will recognize that. And it, again, unfortunately, for him, because it's someone I think should stay in the pavilion, shows a different side of him, which unfortunately may damage any legacy that he has. The truth is that the National Health Fund, under this administration, 9 years this next month, March 2025, from 2016, has grown, expanded, and provided far more benefits than it did previous to that date. We have added 5 categories of illnesses that never existed. We have offered free screening in areas like pap smear and others. We have issued some 3 million prescriptions last year from less than 1 million in 2016. And the team at the Health Fund, supported by this government, has managed the budget in a way where even in the case of governance, that organization has won several awards each year when competing even with private sector entities.
Sure, but he's suggesting that you're building out his vision. He's suggesting you're building out his vision. You're standing on his shoulders.
Well, I tell you what, if he feels better saying it, then he is entitled so to do. But I believe that if the issue becomes political comparison, this administration must be credited with moving the health fund from where it was to where it is. And there's a lot of achievements in between, which speaks to the administration's stewardship and, by extension, the people's choice when that time comes, which clearly is where he has his aim also.
Dr. Tufton, you are now quite an experienced hand in the politics. What should we make? Sure. Jamaicans are surprised, and I think you suggested it. Mr. Patterson, usually a cautious man, very deliberate with his words, has chosen to come out of retirement after almost 20 years to be now the opening batsman for the PNP's Region 6. What do you make of that?
I normally would not try to involve myself in speculation around people's motives. That doesn't stand up in court, as you know. But since he has done so, it could point to several things, and I'm not going to conclude on which one. It could point to desperation on the part of that organization that he clearly is representing. Maybe it's desperation that he sees. Maybe it's because he has been asked for help by those who perceive or see that desperation in terms of political advancement. Maybe he is forgetful and not recalling some of the context around some of these things that he is commenting on. And I say so with the utmost of respect. After a while, you don't always, maybe context may elude you because of your reflections. I don't know. Again, I'm not...
Are you saying the former Prime Minister is just too old, Dr. Tufton?
I'm not saying any such thing.
Oh.
But the truth is,
so what are you saying?
We have a problem where someone who has served for so long, and rightfully, I believe in institutions, and a Prime Minister becomes an institution once he reaches that pinnacle of governance. And respect should be shown to that office and those who have occupied it. And the holder of that office is as responsible for the protection of that office, past and present, as is those who comment around what that office represents. And what he has threatened to do, I dare venture to say, is to bring that legacy of the office, not necessarily the individual, into disrepute. We believe that experience, I certainly do, is an important point of learning. And for me, even with my 20 plus years in politics, I am always prepared to listen to those who have gone before me on all sides based on their experience. But if it gets to a kind of base conversation of misinformation and indeed, I dare say, propaganda, arguing without context and without the facts, then unfortunately, it deserves a response. And sometimes that response may actually undermine the institution that the individual was a part of. And I think he runs the risk of that, which is unfortunate, because ultimately I believe all of us are trying to make Jamaica a better place. And I think that's what legacy should do, promote the lessons learned, even the mistakes he has made under his administration, so we do not repeat those lessons. I mean, when I hear about stability, growth, and poverty, is he critical of the institutions that he, as he said, helped to create? Not just the National Health Fund, but whether it is the other institutions that have reflected numbers that shows Jamaica macroeconomic circumstances far better than it was 15 years ago. And how can he be? And isn't that doing a disservice to those persons who have been part of those institutions and his own stewardship who presided over them, which now can report positive indicators around the country, poverty, growth, fiscal surplus? It may not mean a lot to the average man, but he certainly should understand the implications of that, because there was a time when we couldn't borrow, when we had little credibility, when the IMF had to dictate what we do or don't do, and we have been able to manage ourselves out of that, certainly over the last 9 years. The least he could do is give credit to that and to say, okay, but we need to do more. That I would understand. But to throw everything out is to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And frankly speaking, it is unbecoming, especially of an elder statesman who really should be able to identify the good and not let perfection be the enemy of the good. And that's the disappointment that I have, because health today is far better than it was before. Indeed, if I were to take his opposition spokesperson on health and the comment he made in 2015... And
Mark Golding's opposition spokesman on health.
Okay, well, okay, fine. Mark Golding's opposition spokesperson of health, but he's a part of it clearly, having taken that stance recently. And the description of surgeons having to wear scandal bags to perform surgery. When have we ever heard that happening in the public health system today? It doesn't. So, you know...
We're out of time, Dr. Tufton.
Unfortunate.
We're out of time. Thank you very much. Health Minister, Health and Wellness Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton. After the break, in the nation's business, that new leaked voice note of the Mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew talking about doing his best to help PNP political representatives in the Christmas season last year. You don't want to miss that one. Yes?
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. The KSAMC PNP corruption scandal is deepening. Another damning voice note has been leaked, and Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says the funds distributed to PNP political representatives last December were privately raised. He says the funds were not from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation or any other public source. He told the corporation's monthly general meeting today that the funds were raised privately through PNP-led initiatives and efforts. He did not disclose this in his first media statement on the issue earlier on January 31 this year. At the corporation's monthly meeting today, Mayor Swaby again denied the allegations that the KCMC used public funds to support the PNP in election campaign activities. According to him, any money handed to Lawrence Rowe was privately raised.
I wish to clarify that any money Mr. Rowe received from a member of my administrative staff were not public funds from the KSAMC or any other public source. Those funds were privately raised through party-led initiatives and efforts. This is not an unusual occurrence, as it is the norm for individuals and organizations to contribute to political parties during the Christmas. No funds from the KSAMC were used to bolster the political support of any candidate in any division or constituency. For the record, the KSAMC does not disburse cash to individuals, and any suggestion to the contrary is categorically false.
Mayor Swaby says Mr. Rowe was wrong in assuming the $300,000 he was told to come collect was for political purposes. And there are questions this afternoon about the sincerity of Mayor Swaby's latest statement about the growing scandal at the KSAMC. This in light of leaked audio from late December last year in which he's heard telling an unidentified man about how he had spoken to several individuals and helping some others in his bid to ensure that Central Kingston is won by the PNP's candidate come election day. In the leaked audio, Tour News Center, Swaby uses the word money once, but he uses the phrase gel the thing together and grill up the thing to suggest he has taken deliberate action to help the PNP win in Central Kingston and save his own political skin. Or sources say the audio was recorded on December 31, 2024. Here is what the mayor and the chairman of Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Andrew Swaby, was heard saying about his efforts to prevail upon certain named individuals to reward him later for favors he would do for them now. Listen carefully as Mayor Swaby speaks about his deliberate actions.
I have tried in my way to help to gel the thing together. I talk to Charmian, I talk to Charmian's sister, I talk to other people in the constituency. I want even tell her, say, for me, go this with the sports team, I keep on Angela over 3 days in a race. And me and Bull and them and I talk. And in my little way, I try and help them. That because I say, boy, if when the time come, I can't, if they don't need me talk to them, I can't talk. Even Christmas, I help them, you know. Even Christmas, I send something to go give them. I mean, do it deliberately so, and I go through the car and say, me, you want to be in a position for us, boy, then if I'm a bother, and I can't talk to them.
Mayor Swaby goes on to explain to the man he's speaking with that the reason he has taken deliberate action to help certain people in Central Kingston is because he has seen those people act in a certain way when other men gave them money. He then says that both he and Audrey took a deliberate look at how best to help certain individuals in Central Kingston.
Me know the role within the player when other man come on and get them. That's why me that try to say, when me talk to them to make sure, say, we will grill the thing up, then can't say, PNP now, PNP in our mind.
Yeah.
So, and everything me do, a man can say, me talk, me do, me help in the Christmas, me go far and wide. You understand me? Because me all the sit down, I will look for it like I said, it's a ABC, because we know, we target Central Kingston to win. We know that. I mean, I look for who I run, me I look for and say, P1 PNP win. And my backside of the door when we have an MP and a Central Kingston, the border, them come closer to me. They have more than one interest. Why me want Central Kingston? You know?
The mayor did not identify the Audrey he referred to in the clip. In other news, the government has opened debate on the bill seeking to have Portmore declared the 15th parish of Jamaica. Up to news time, the debate on the bill was underway in the House of Representatives. The debate was opened by Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie.
This is a day of tremendous historical significance. This is the day when we, as lawmakers of this parliament, begin the process of transforming the city municipality of Portmore into the parish of Portmore and the 15th parish of Jamaica. This is not merely adding to the counts of parishes in the island. It is in fact the first time in the history of post-colonial Jamaica that a new parish is being created.
The bill to amend the Counties and Parishes Act to declare the city municipality of Portmore the 15th parish of Jamaica and for connected matters will see the dormitory community separated from St. Catherine. Mr. Mackenzie says this will allow Portmore to better chart its own course and handle its affairs.
This law was reduced by Law 22 in 1867 to create 14. Jamaica has had 14 parishes since May 1, 1867. Today, therefore, nearly 158 years later, we are beginning the process of giving formal recognition and further empowerment to the people of the largest community in the Caribbean. We are providing through this bill, Mr. Speaker, tabled in this House, the civic and the practical development opportunities that will allow Portmore to achieve this outstanding milestone and a fulfillment, Mr. Speaker, of a commitment made to the electorates of this country by the Jamaica Labour Party while campaigning for public office.
Desmond Mackenzie, Minister of Local Government and Community Development. Those were the headlines. At 6, I'm Nora Gay. Banton Sports is next.
KFC pop, popcorn chicken. KFC popcorn chicken. Incredible, delicious, finger licking in the sauce when me dip it. I can't resist it. Once you start, you can't stop.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Now available in hot and spicy. Try with our new dipping sauces. KFC, it's finger licking good.
KFC popcorn chicken.
Labor Rights West Kingston Youth Forum live and direct at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, this Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Let's interact on how the JLP breaks down barriers to prepare a solid future that hotspot opportunities for all youths in our nation. That is why I vote JLP. Hear from special guest Senator the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, the vibrant West Kingston youths and others. West Kingston Youth Forum this Thursday 5 p.m. at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, hosted by champion West Kingston MP, the Honorable Desmond Mackenzie. West Kingston Youths active and strong. See you there.
Yeah, here? If you're tired of a cluttered office space, then you need to call Corporate Interiors International. We offer top quality industrial shelving, filing cabinets, and storage cabinets to keep your workspace organized and efficient, plus comfortable office chairs that will keep your team productive and focused. Visit us today at corporateinteriorsjm.com or call us at 876-630-0010 for more information. Corporate Interiors International. We sell solutions, not just furniture.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The Jamaica Scorpions are back in action in the West Indies 4-Day Cricket Championship. They face Barbados Pride at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados. The third round gets going tomorrow. The Scorpions started the season with an easy 178-run win over the Windward Islands Volcanoes, but they faltered in round 2. They lost by 5 wickets to the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. The Pride lost their opening game by 10 wickets to the champions Guyana Harpy Eagles, but they hit back with an impressive innings victory over the West Indies Academy in round 2. Meanwhile, the Harpy Eagles and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force will seek to keep their 100% record intact. Guyana will be home at Providence to the West Indies Academy, while the Red Force will battle the Leeward Islands Hurricanes at the Warner Park Field. The fourth game in the round pits the Windward Islands Volcanoes against the combined campuses and colleges, the game to be played at the Windsor Park. President of Cricket West Indies Dr. Kishore Shallow says he's seriously considering another term at the helm of the regional board at the next voting Congress scheduled for March 29. Dr. Shallow, who is coming to the end of his first full term as president, says he will be consulting the various board members, and if he's given assurances that he has their support, then he'll go for it. Nominations are currently open for president and vice presidential aspirants, and it's scheduled to close on February 26. The next president will serve a 3-year term instead of 2, and this following a special meeting of CWI members in Trinidad on Sunday, which approved a historic set of governance reforms to include a new term limit of a maximum 3 terms of 3 years each for president and vice president. Bangladesh off-spinner Sohaili Akhtar has become the first female cricketer to be banned for corruption. Akhtar, who has played 2 one-day internationals and 3 T20Is, was found guilty of attempting to fix, offering a bribe, and failing to disclose full details of an approach to the ICC's anti-corruption code, as well as obstructing the investigation. She's been banned for 5 years from all cricket after she admitted breaching 5 provisions of the anti-corruption code. The charges against her center around an approach she made to a Bangladesh cricketer during the 2023 Women's T20 World Cup in South Africa. The investigation focused on Sohaili's conversation on Facebook Messenger with a cricketer on February 14, 2023. It was a day of the T20 World Cup game between Bangladesh and Australia. She made an offer of 2 million Bangladeshi taka, or the equivalent of $16,400 to the player to get out hit wicket during the game. Now, the player, who was approached by Akhtar, reported the matter to the ACU immediately, providing all the voice notes from Sohaili, who had deleted those files on her devices. When interviewed by the ACU, Sohaili confirmed that she did send the voice messages to the player, but initially claimed that she only did so in order to show her friend that members of the Bangladesh team were not involved in fixing, not because she was genuinely making a corrupt approach. The Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League resumes tomorrow after a 1-weekend break with 3 games. Former champions Portmore United, they're on 38 points at the minute, and they'll be home to Dunbeholden at Ferdanita Park, and they'll be looking to solidify their place in their 4th place in the standings. 7th place Racing, with 3 victories on the spin, will travel to Effortville to take on the bottom of the table Humble Line, while Tivoli Gardens will be home at the Edward Siaga Complex. They face Chappleton Maroons. All games are scheduled to kick off at 3 o'clock. 4 more games are unscheduled for Thursday. Leaders Mount Pleasant Academy against Lions at Drewsland, there against Harbourview at Wembley Centre of Excellence. Arnett Gardens and Waterhouse clash at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex, and the champions Cavalier will take on Mobay at the Stadium East. Excelsior High School opened the defense of their Issa Tip Friendly Society Schoolgirls Football League title on a winning note. They came from behind to beat Merle Grove by 2-1 at Excelsior in the opening game of the doubleheader. Tivoli Gardens, while they crushed Meadowbrook by 5-0. Defending champions Real Madrid came from behind twice to beat Manchester City 3-2 in a European Champions League Classic at the Etihad today. Erling Haaland shot City ahead after 19 minutes, but Kylian Mbappe, he drew with Madrid level on the hour mark. Haaland restored the lead for the citizens from the spot on minute 80, only for former Manchester City player Brahim Diaz to level again for Madrid. Jude Bellingham then popped up in added time to give Madrid the advantage, going into the second leg of their knockout round playoff in Madrid in 8 days' time.
Guardiola's made a run into the box, and here's Haaland! Oh, he's been waiting for that! And here's Mbappe! He's hooked it in! Real Madrid are on terms! Erling Haaland against Thibaut Courtois. Manchester City lead again. Erling Haaland has scored again. It's Vinicius, and it came back, and that is 2-2, and it's Brahim Diaz, and he's chipped it beyond the goalkeeper, and Bellingham, the final dramatic, painful twist.
In other first leg playoff ties today, Ousmane Dembele scored twice as Paris Saint-Germain. They beat Brest by 3-0 in their French derby. PSV Eindhoven lost 2-1 at home to Juventus, while Borussia Dortmund, they went to Portugal today and they beat Sporting CP by 3-0. Sprint legend Usain Bolt says he's surprised by the limited communication as to the status of efforts to recover the funds stolen from him at Stocks and Securities Limited. Bolt is reported to have lost over $12 million in the massive fraud at the investment firm. Speaking on the Fix podcast, Bolt says the incident has caused him to re-evaluate his importance amongst the elite in Jamaica.
It licked my heart, brother, and then show over time how it has progressed and what I expect me not get, or what I think me don't see and the help me not get from certain people, and you know see me as a judge. Yeah, the government alone really can't do nothing big about this, you know what I'm saying? And them are the only person who can go in and say, yo, this need to fix. There's been conversations, but nothing has materialized out of the conversation. Personally, if they were doing it would have reached a certain level already. It's been 2 years and we can't say, me can't come to you now and say, all right, you reach us, all right, we'll look up or we'll look down. It's not there no way. This is like almost at a stalemate, isn't it?
Former SSL Client Relations Manager Jean Ann Panton is the only person to have so far been charged in the incident. Bolt believes more arrests need to be made.
all this money missing and one person know about it. one somebody can move around and nobody else don't know about it. In a big institution where it's supposed to be really regulated, right? All of things move. And I like me alone. You tell me say you run off an institution and you don't notice nothing go on. So you get audit or nothing happen or is the man say so clear this go on for years. And I like a 1 year thing.
That's Usain Bolt. Jamaica's team returned from the recent Butterfly February Broad Table Tennis Club, a BTTC tournament with 6 trophies. Aziz Johnson took the runner-up spot in the under-21 singles category, while Jaden Ebanks took first place in the under-19, under-18, 17 and under-13 singles categories. Ebanks later teamed up with Kane Watson to take top honors in the under-36 team event. Ebanks says he benefited from a low ranking.
It just allowed me to be eligible to play in more categories than another player because your ranking has to be under a certain amount to enter a certain category, and because it was low, I could enter 5-6 different categories. I was working hard in training and everything, so I was prepared for all the categories I played in, and I performed well and got the trophies. I won 5 trophies from 5 different categories. One was a team event with another player, and I'm proud of my performance. Obviously, I could have performed better in other categories because I did come 3rd in one, but I played my best and I won what I wanted.
Yeah, Jaden Ebanks Johnson says he gained valuable experience from competing in the tournament.
Yes, it was a very good learning experience. I played against a lot of different style of players that I wouldn't have usually played against, and it was good for me to get used to and also to know the different type of quality players that are out there. I came second. I personally thought I should have won it, but so that's how it is sometimes, but I did my best and it showed.
Yeah, that's Johnson, Aziz Johnson, and that's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
28 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 27 in the western city, Montego Bay.
KFC pop, popcorn chicken. KFC popcorn chicken. Incredible, delicious finger licking in the sauce when me dip it. I can't resist it. Once you start, you can't stop.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Now available in hot and spicy. Try with our new dipping sauces. KFC, it's finger licking good.
KFC popcorn chicken.
Imagine opening a bank account without ever leaving your home. Well, at CIBC Caribbean, we've changed the game. Open a new CIBC savings or checking account completely online using your computer or phone, anywhere, anytime. No need to visit the bank, no waiting in line. Just apply, verify and sign your documents, all online. It's secure, seamless, and 100% digital. Open your new CIBC account by applying online today.
Good morning and welcome to the newest addition to the Nationwide News Network family on Hot 102. Good afternoon, I'm Erica Allen.
I'm Elizabeth Bennett.
In Nationwide News at this hour.
This is Nationwide, I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Carol Narcisse. Morning, welcome to This Morning on Hot 102. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Beverly Anderson Manley. Good morning and welcome.
For 20 years, Nationwide 90 FM has been your trusted source for breaking news, delivering critical updates when you needed them most.
3:37 in the afternoon, we interrupt to bring you more from the One Don Klansman gang tribe. Another guilty verdict.
With fearless, fact-based journalism that unearthed the truth.
Between 2012 and 2018, nearly $5.5 million was taken from the track legend.
And insightful commentary that sparked meaningful conversations and shifted perspectives.
Welcome to the front page. I'm Emily Crooks. I am Naomi Francis. We're pleased to be joined by Roger Clark.
From the stories that shook Jamaica,
We're having an earthquake.
to those that inspired change and left lasting impacts.
In 2014, to be dealing with an issue such as the Marianine case.
Nationwide 90 FM has been there, diving deep into the issues that matter most to you. As we mark 20 years of dedicated service in 2025, we honor the trust you have placed in us and reaffirm our commitment to serving you, the Jamaican people, rooted in truth, fairness, and integrity. We continue to provide incisive reporting with a foundation of accountability and respect. While we celebrate our journey, we are also focused on the future, fueled by the same passion and purpose that has always driven us. Thank you for supporting Team Revolution for 2 decades. Stay with us. The best is yet to come.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
It is that time again. It's time for Public Opinion. Good evening, welcome. It's time for Public Opinion. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Special good evening to our friends on YouTube. We also invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. And today's topic concerns the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, P.J. Patterson. He's offered a scathing assessment of the Holness administration's stewardship of the country's affairs. P.J. Patterson slammed the government's management of the island's road network, health system, and what he described as the alarming levels of poverty in the country. It's some of the most strident comments against a sitting administration from a former prime minister, or the former prime minister rather, since he retired in 2006. The former prime minister says the Holness administration's boasts of prosperity ring hollow.
Despite all the boast about prosperity and despite the economic indices, there are too many families which simply cannot make ends meet. There's a recent report that shows hunger and malnutrition in Jamaica are at an alarming levels.
That's P.J. Patterson, former Prime Minister of Jamaica. So amidst these comments, we have asked you, the public, what's your reaction to P.J. Patterson's criticisms of the Andrew Holness administration? So we're going to take a look at X first. X is going to be where we go first. And, Voice of Truth kicks us off. He says, P.J. Patterson is the worst Prime Minister Jamaica has ever seen. He single-handedly destroyed our country. He should rightly move on and let us heal in peace. Thea Davis, best he stays out of the political arena and stay in retirement. He doesn't have a record to stand on, so he can't criticize the Holness government who has done what he couldn't do. The Aki says Dr. Andrew Holness is by far superior to P.J. Patterson, who is the most scandal-ridden person to ever hold the position of Prime Minister anywhere on planet Earth. That's okay. I stand with Dr. Andrew Holness. That's literally the name of the account. I asked ChatGPT and found 100 scandals under P.J. Patterson's name. What else we have here? Thacia says baseless. What else we have here? On point. He hit the nail on the nail. I hope I don't see any MP or the PM running any election campaigns on the roads. That's do your civic duty on X. Loxley says he has no moral authority to speak on this for what happened in his 18 years as a PM. What else do we have here? Don Messi says what PJ says has no bearing on my thoughts of he and PNP's thinking. Very delusional. What else do we have here? Barry White says with all PJ fanfare, academics and these things, history will recognize. Can I even read this? Okay, let me not. And that's what we have so far on X. If we go over to Instagram, though, let's see what we got over there. What's your reaction to former Prime Minister PJ Patterson's criticism? 63 comments, My word. Let's see how many we can get through. Someone says, that couldn't be Percival Noel James Patterson. It must have been AI generated. His track record was woeful. What else do we have here? PJ has the worst track record from 1993 to 2006. He's the one who set us back as a nation. History is clear, says Chrissy Let Go Frozen. PJ has no standing to speak into politics in Jamaica. Lethal Man says one word, Finsack. What else do we have here? Someone says rolling on the floor laughing. That's one Empress 658. Jay John says it's like a man who boot front bus out. I tell a man in a brand new Nike same shoes no good. Okay. Alright. True Quiet says, the messenger aside, are the roads and the health sector in disrepair? The answer is yes. This belief that a past prime minister can't critique a current government because his or her tenure wasn't impeccable is rooted in stupidity. The current government has ignored the roads and the healthcare sector. They are now trying to play catch up. Last thing I heard, they were blaming the previous government for the state of roads. PJ has all the rights to speak up. He has done far more for Jamaica than majority of his critics, their families, and friends combined. That's the True Quiet Storm on Instagram. We keep going. Here we are. Let's see. PJ spot on circus government this. That's Barrington Buck. What are they waiting on to call the election? Boss Lady 3873 says, barefaced, dry eye, and shameless. What else we have here? Who? Wow. That's It's Lady K. Hutchinson. What else we have here? Let's go through. Is there anything here I can read? Oh, wow. Still checking. Still reminding you of the question. And I'm reminding the YouTubers. I know they've probably taken over the chat by now. But today's question is, what's your reaction to PJ Patterson's criticisms of the Holness administration? We keep going. Alright. So that's all we have for Instagram. We're going to try Facebook and then we're going to go to the YouTubers. See what they have to say. Alright. So it's not looking good too far, but it's a very interesting comment I read. There was someone saying, regardless of PJ's tenure as Prime Minister, as a former Prime Minister, he's still free to speak his mind. Alright, Shireen Small kicks us off in public opinion on Facebook. She says, PJ Bleed Jamaica sold out. PJ's damaged goods. Wow, crazy. What else do we have here? John Thomas says, PJ is the CEO for unemployment. Juliet Richards says, a 1 JLP leading in the polls do that. What else do we have here? Keep looking. Sansi Senaj says, PJ and Omar Davies need to apologize to the Jamaican people for the atrocities they have done. Nadia Dockery says, PJ should be ashamed of himself to talk about the state of the country. What was his legacy? What else do we have here? After the Shell waiver, Iran sugar deal, NetServe, Sandal, White House. This is a long list here. I can't read all of them. Especially the present government has achieved over and beyond all expectations. We keep going. Georgina Bridson says, I guess he has totally forgotten his damage to the country people see with him. Natasha Lewis says, shame and disgrace. Original Boss Lady says, okay, this was on the Instagram. I'm not going to read that twice. All right, let's go over to the YouTubers and then let's get out of here. So, Morris McCarthy kicks us off. He says, PJ should go back to retirement. What else do we have here? Still looking. I don't want to read some of these, they're very insulting. Trying to find some honest criticism, some honest reactions to what the former Prime Minister said. But I'm genuinely not finding it here, that man. Sandra Moore says, PJ is like a minus quantity raised to the power of infinity. His comments have no value. Orville McCullough says, coming out of retirement to disgrace himself. Keep going. Let's see what else we can find here. Ken Youth Mullings says, PJ have no moral authority. Keep going, seeing what we can find. Away with PJ, says Strong Link. Devon White says, how many families made malnourished under PJ? Someone says, Mahiri, read the text and stop scheme over them. There's a lot, though. I can't lie, man. There's a lot, Trevor. There's too many, and I can't read all of them. Some of these cross the line. Yeah? Some of these cross the line. I can't read some of those. There we go. Roger Shippey says, PJ has a right to speak, but should not allow himself to be used so desperately. Someone says, who is that comparing PJ with us regular citizens? You should compare him with other prime ministers. Which commenter that sounds so unreasonable? I'm being euphemistic. What else do we have here? Seeing what else can I read? Or do we just wrap up? Yeah, we gotta wrap up, man. That's what they're telling me. Thank you, as always, though, for participating in another Public Opinion. I'm Mahiri Stewart, but stay tuned because the Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It's 6:34.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is...
It's 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Energy company West Indies Petroleum Limited, WIP, has announced a landmark partnership with Sunoco LP, a leading energy infrastructure and fuel distribution master. Sunoco LP has limited operation in the United States, Puerto Rico, Europe, and Mexico. WIP says the partnership, which officially began on January 1, 2025, positions Jamaica to become a major marine fuel hub in the Caribbean region. Chief Executive Officer of WIP, Charles Chambers, described the partnership as, quote, a definitive game changer, end quote, for Jamaica's marine fuel sector. The partnership addresses key challenges in the marine fuel market, particularly related to credit and supply chain operations. And internationally, leaders in Europe and Canada say they will not let Donald Trump's plans to hit their steel and aluminum exports with tariffs go unchallenged. The European Commission president says the move would trigger firm and proportionate countermeasures, while Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also pledged to stand up for Canadian workers and businesses. The comments came after the US president ordered a 25% import tax on all steel and aluminum entering the US, ending up previous exemptions for allies, including Canada and the EU, and marking a major expansion of trade barriers. Trump said he was simplifying the rules and the measures would boost domestic production. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 18 cents to buy $1. It cost 193 Jamaican dollars and 84 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 111 Jamaican dollars and 9 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Good evening.
Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payment until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payment until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai for free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
I've been
Love me, pamper me, spa with me at Adam and Eve Day Spa. Book your couple's getaway today. Give the gift of spa packaged with love. Enjoy Oasis of Love, Unite the Flame, or Love Me, Spoil Me packages. Make your Valentine's Day reservations now at adamandevedayspaja.com or call 876-754-6017. Indulge in love with Team Adam and Eve Spa. The couple that spa together stays together.
Labor Rights, West Kingston Youth Forum live and direct at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, this Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Let's interact on how the JLP breaks down barriers to prepare a solid future that hotspot opportunities for all youths in our nation. That is why I vote JLP. Hear from special guest Senator the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, the vibrant West Kingston youths and others. West Kingston Youth Forum this Thursday 5 p.m. at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, hosted by champion West Kingston MP, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. West Kingston youths active and strong. See you there.
Good morning and welcome to the newest addition to the Nationwide News Network family on Hot 102. Good afternoon, I'm Erica Allen.
I'm Elizabeth Bennett.
In Nationwide News at this hour.
This is Nationwide. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Carol Narcisse.
Morning, welcome to this morning on Hot 102.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Beverly Anderson Manley. Good morning and welcome.
For 20 years, Nationwide 90 FM has been your trusted source for breaking news, delivering critical updates when you needed them most.
3:37 in the afternoon, we interrupt to bring you more from the One Don Klansman gang tribe. Another guilty verdict.
With fearless, fact-based journalism that unearthed the truth.
Between 2012 and 2018, nearly $5.5 million was taken from the track legend.
And insightful commentary that sparked meaningful conversations and shifted perspectives.
Welcome to the front page. I'm Emily Crooks.
I am Naomi Francis.
We're pleased to be joined by Roger Clark.
From the stories that shook Jamaica,
We're having an earthquake.
to those that inspired change and left lasting impacts.
In 2014, to be dealing with an issue such as the Mario Dean case.
Nationwide 90 FM has been there, diving deep into the issues that matter most to you. As we mark 20 years of dedicated service in 2025, we honor the trust you have placed in us and reaffirm our commitment to serving you, the Jamaican people, rooted in truth, fairness, and integrity. We continue to provide incisive reporting with a foundation of accountability and respect. While we celebrate our journey, we are also focused on the future, fueled by the same passion and purpose that has always driven us. Thank you for supporting Team Revolution for 2 decades. Stay with us. The best is yet to come. Good evening. 18 minutes going up to 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks. And just before we get to the nation's business, Cliff, just want to advise the listeners, the push to make Portmore 15th Parish took a huge step forward. The House of Representatives has passed the bill. The opposition walked out once it came to the second reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is going to happen.
It appears so.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to turn now to more developments in the KSA-MC PNP corruption scandal, which is deepening today. Another damning voice note has been leaked. The Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, today said the funds distributed to PNP political representatives last December were privately raised.
He says the funds were not from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, that's the KSAMC, or any other public source. He told the corporation's monthly general meeting this morning that the funds were raised privately through PNP-led initiatives and efforts. He did not disclose this in his first media statement. You'll recall, listeners, he issued that first statement on January 31 this year. Khaleesi Wright was at today's KSAMC general meeting.
Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby and the PNP have been under pressure since news of the alleged misuse of funds was first made public by Nationwide News on January 29. The allegations are based on WhatsApp messages and voice notes between then PNP caretaker for Central Kingston Lawrence Rowe and the party's General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell. The conversations included Rowe complaining to Dr. Campbell that he had received only $300,000 while other PNP representatives had received more. Mayor Swaby responded to the allegations in a statement on January 31. He stated then that municipalities do not disburse cash. He also stated that the KSA-MC did not authorize or facilitate cash disbursements to any individual. Mayor Swaby also asserted that if any such transaction took place, it was not sanctioned by the corporation and did not involve public funds. At the corporation's monthly meeting today, Mayor Swaby again denied the allegations that the KSA-MC used public funds to support the PNP in election campaign activities. According to him, any money handed to Lawrence Rowe was privately raised.
I wish to clarify that any money Mr. Rowe received from a member of my administrative staff were not public funds from the KSA-MC or any other public source. Those funds were privately raised through party-led initiatives and efforts. This is not an unusual occurrence, as it is a norm for individuals and organizations to contribute to political parties during the Christmas. No funds from the KSA-MC were used to bolster the political support of any candidate in any division or constituency. For the record, the KSA-MC does not disburse cash to individuals, and any suggestion to the contrary is categorically false.
Mayor Swaby says Mr. Rowe was wrong in assuming the $300,000 he was told to come collect was for political purposes.
Based on the contents of the message, I can only assume that the money referred to is a $2.7 million allocated to each of the respective divisions. These money include a portion from the KSA-MC Divisional Allocation Fund, as well as money allocated by the ministry. Clearly, Mr. Rowe wrongfully assumed that the money being considered being spent in these divisions were for political gain. Those funds were a legitimate allocation from the KSA-MC and the ministry, designated for community initiatives in the absence of an elected councillor.
Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
Just pause for a moment. We're going to take a quick break. But before you take it, Bugs, the mayor said these were for community projects.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would imagine the mayor should now back that up and tell us which communities benefited.
What projects were funded.
What projects were funded, yes, and the accounting for that.
Yes.
Because since they were all legit KSA-MC projects funded, yeah, where is the evidence that these projects were actually done and people paid?
Yeah.
Time for the break.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
13 minutes to 7. Continuing with the nation's business, the KSA-MC PNP corruption scandal took a turn today with the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew. He's been at the center of this over accusations that funds from the council somehow were channeled to PNP representatives in the Christmas season last December for political gain, for political work. The mayor says no, that is not so. In fact, when he spoke today, he said, listen, these were private funds raised by the People's National Party.
And in the ordinary cut and thrust of politics, I suppose that would be fine. But here's my challenge. Why was this, well, let me first ask, was this money distributed on the compound of the KSAMC? That's first. 2, if it was, why? 3, if the money was raised for and on behalf of the People's National Party, was this ever made known to Party Central? What exactly is the mayor's role as a, I'm not even talking as a public servant now, but as a PNP operative, yes? What exactly is his function and role in relation to constituencies like Central Kingston? Because he doesn't talk about divisions, he talks about the constituency at large. I think he said grill up, anything gel together, I think was the phrasing.
Yes.
What was his specific role? Did he have a party function in relation to Central Kingston such that he would be in contact with the caretaker, or his functionaries would be in contact with the caretaker to come to the KSAMC to collect money? Final question. If it is that this was private money raised, which again, as I said, would be fine in the cut and thrust of politics, why was it not for public knowledge? I keep going back to that final message, yes, that was sent to Mr. Rowe. Note, this
Audrey
is not,
Smith-Facey.
the not was in caps, if I recall correctly.
This is not
for public
knowledge.
Why would this be hidden? Why would it be a secret?
Yes.
Parties raise money, if the mayor is indeed
carry
correct,
on their activities.
There would be nothing untoward about that. That's not something you should hide from the public.
Well, this issue, those questions become even more pertinent because tonight we have another leaked voice note from last December in which Mayor Swaby this time is heard telling an unidentified man about how he, Mayor Swaby, had spoken to several individuals, helping some others in his bid to ensure that Central Kingston is won by the PNP's candidate come election day. George Davis has more in this report.
In the leaked audio to our news center, Swaby uses the word money once, but he uses the phrase gel the thing together and grill up the thing to suggest he has taken deliberate action to help the PNP win in Central Kingston and save his own political skin. Our sources say the audio was recorded on December 31, 2024. Here is what the mayor and the chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Andrew Swaby, was heard saying about his efforts to prevail upon certain named individuals to reward him later for favors he would do for them now. Listen carefully as Mayor Swaby speaks about his deliberate actions.
I have tried in my way to help to gel the thing together. I talk to Charmian, I talk to Charmian's sister, I talk to other people in that constituency. I want even tell us if I me go this with the sports team, we keep on handling them over 3 dinner. And me and Bull and them and I talk. And in a my little way, I try and help them. That because boy, if the time come, me can't, if they don't need for me talk to them, I can't talk. Even Christmas, me help them, you know. Even Christmas, me send something to go give them. I mean, do it deliberately so, and I go to the car and say, me want in a position for us, boy, then if I'm a bother, and me can't talk to them.
So who is this Bull, Mayor Swaby? Is he the reputed Don from Top Road in Central Kingston? Mayor Swaby goes on to explain to the man he's speaking with that the reason he has taken deliberate action to help certain people in Central Kingston is because he has seen those people act in a certain way when other men gave them money. He then says that both he and Audrey took a deliberate look at how best to help certain individuals in Central Kingston.
me know the role within the player when other man can money come get them. That's why me that try say, let me talk to them to make sure say we will really think up then can't say PNP now pay in our mind.
Yeah.
So and everything me do a man can say me talk me do me help in the Christmas me go far and wide. You understand me? Come here all the sit down I will look for it like I'm saying ABC cause we know we target Central Kingston to win. We know that. I mean, I look for who I run. I look for say, B1 PNP win. And my backside of the door when we have an MP and a Central Kingston. The bar that them come closer to me. They have more than one interest. Why me want Central Kingston? You know?
Mayor Swaby did not identify the Audrey he referred to in the clip. Who is this Audrey, Mayor? And what role does she play in helping you decide how to allocate resources that come through the KSAMC? Based on how he mentioned her, it would appear as if that Audrey is known to both himself and the man with whom he was having that conversation on December 31 last year. Nationwide News reported earlier that among the allegations made by former PNP caretaker in Central Kingston, Lawrence Rowe, is that a member of Mayor Swaby's administrative staff told him to collect $300,000 cash from the KSAMC. Rowe was told that he was at liberty to spend the cash as he saw fit, but that this gift to him was not for public knowledge. The name of that staff member at the KSAMC who communicated that message to Lawrence Rowe on December 17, 2024, Audrey Smith-Facey. George Davis for Nationwide News.
So, Ricardo, listeners, now we hear from the mayor, the chairman of the municipal corporation himself, in his own words, saying that he tries to cover not only his backside, but to pursue the political agenda of the PNP to win.
Yes.
By directing, whether those were raised privately or from the coffers of the KSAC, the resources to the PNP, key people, Buller among them. Bull.
Yes.
Bull among them to make sure that them win. And that is the story. That has been the central story of this entire thing since it broke.
Permit me to add one more question since I was in the business of posing questions. Why didn't the explanation that this money was privately raised come in the first
statement on January 31?
Yes. That is also a question I think the mayor must answer. Why? Why did you allow so much time to pass before you added that context as you have this morning?
And that voice note in which you can hear the mayor, setting out his case to helping his comrades, is damning. But in the interest of time, we had to edit. So we are going to play for you now part of the extended portion of that voice note.
I mean, I look at it, but I look at it without any form of bias or anything, because everything. But the only concern I had where you are concerned is the whole issue that the thing just never gel back together. That's the only concern I had. I'm not touching them, but me know the role within the player when other man can money come get them. That's why me that try say talk to them to make sure say we will really think up then can't say PNP now pay in our mind. You understand me? Like everything me do a man can say me talk me do me help in the Christmas me go far and wide. You understand me? Come here all the sit down I will look for it like I'm saying ABC cause we know we target Central Kingston to win. We know that. I mean I look for who I run, me I look for say B1 PNP win and my tell out the door when we have an MP and a Central Kingston. The bar that them come closer to me. So they have more than one interest. Why me want Central Kingston? Me and Audrey, what they plan to sit down and talk to her about that. Can me tell Audrey where you can tell me. I think you tell Audrey too. I will discuss it. But you don't know it now the heat of Christmas and everything. I never take it on at that time. I'll be honest with you. Come here and say boy because some of the coasters don't look at the bigger picture. Me not feel like you feel me my MP now. Me not feel like you.
Who is he speaking with? Take one guess. We know, but we're not saying it. Yeah? But Audrey, him and Audrey sit down. Is this Audrey Smith-Facey from his administrative staff at the KSAMC, the same Audrey who is captured also,
indicating that the money, the knowledge of the money and the disbursement was not for public knowledge.
Exactly.
And why? Why was it not for public knowledge? If indeed, as the mayor says, this was privately raised funding for political work on behalf of the party, why would it not be then for public knowledge?
Well, in another development this afternoon, Lawrence Rowe, the discarded candidate for Central Kingston, posted shortly after 4 on his Facebook page.
Where is Lawrence?
I don't know.
Okay.
He posted what he calls an open letter to Mayor Swaby. Yes? And he says, "Dear Mayor Swaby, I acknowledge your recent statement regarding the allegations of misuse of public funds by the KSAMC and note that my name has been referenced."
He says, "I find that your suggestion that the KSAMC under your leadership has not been distributing public funds to PNP political representatives lacks credibility.
Given the gravity of this matter, says Rowe, and its public interest, I must state that at no time was I aware of the funds received by PNP political representatives during December last year were party resources."
Lawrence Rowe says, in fact, any resources PNP representatives have received from Party Central are collected at the party's headquarters. The funds over the Christmas season by PNP political representatives were collected on the compound of the KSAMC.
Rowe continues, I am therefore requesting your response to the following questions. 1. Allocation and use of funds. Can you provide documented evidence of the approval and disbursement of the $2.7 million allocated to each division?
Were formal records or council minutes kept detailing how these funds were distributed and spent?
Why were portions of these funds redirected instead of being fully allocated to the MPs and managed by the KSAMC's Chief Engineering Officer?
What criteria determined the reallocation of funds to you versus the MPs?
What oversight measures, asks Rowe, ensured these funds were strictly used for community projects?
Rowe then asks, did the KSAMC's Chief Engineering Officer personally approve all expenditures, and can those records be made available?
These are some searching questions. He continues. 2. The role of the PNP General Secretary. Given the General Secretary's role as CEO of the PNP, should he not have been aware of any party-related financial activities?
Lawrence Rowe asks, did you communicate with him regarding these funds? If so, in what capacity?
Were the privately raised funds documented in the party's financial records?
How do you respond to the assertion that the General Secretary was competent to speak on these expenditures?
Transparency and political considerations. Number 3. Why was there no publicly announced mechanism for disbursing funds in divisions without councillors?
If, Rose says or asks, if transparency is a priority, why were these allocations not disclosed earlier?
He continues, were political considerations involved in selecting projects given that community leaders played a role?
Community leaders. That's a euphemism.
4.
He says, you stated that the KSAMC does not disperse cash to individuals. Does this mean all funds were allocated strictly to projects?
He continues, in what manner did I receive the resources, and who else in Central Kingston received the funds?
Number 4, alleged WhatsApp messages. Lawrence Rowe asks, did you acknowledge that my conversation with the PNP General Secretary accurately reflects my concerns?
Have you investigated whether KSAMC officials engaged in discussions about political favoritism in fund disbursement?
If you were unaware of the WhatsApp exchange at the time, have you since verified its contents?
He continues. 5. Under Denham Town and Olympic Gardens allocations, why was the full $2.7 million handed to the MP for Denham Town, but not to the MPs for Olympic Gardens and Chancery Hall?
Can you provide a full list of projects executed with the reallocated funds in each divisions? Number 6. Private funds and party contributions. You stated that any funds I received were privately raised, Lawrence Rowe says. Can you provide records or donor documentation to verify this?
How were these privately raised funds accounted for in the PNP's financial records?
Finally, he asks, were there other caretakers receiving funds in the same manner as I did?
I look forward to your prompt response. Best regards, Lawrence Rowe.
He offers his best regards to the mayor of Kingston.
Wow.
Is Lawrence a lawyer?
Not as far as I'm aware.
This is well written. Yeah.
Very pointed.
Yes, probing,
very
searching.
relevant. Yes, questions. Well, it's 3 minutes after 7. That's the very latest. Yeah. This story is not going away. Although Old Hope Road will love for it to go away. It's not going away. It's not. Yeah? And you notice the drip, drip, drip. And Mayor Swaby has even more questions this evening to answer than what was facing him this morning at the start of the meeting, the monthly general meeting of the KSAMC.
Yeah.
His position is looking increasingly tenuous.
Foremost in my mind, why was the knowledge of these disbursements not fit for public
consumption?
Knowledge? Yeah. After the break, Nature's Remedies.
The Love Bush. This evening, the focus.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
5 minutes after 7.
KFC pop, pop, popcorn chicken. KFC popcorn chicken. Incredible, delicious finger licking in the sauce when me dip it. I can't resist it. Once you start, you can't stop.
Do whatever the crunch you want with KFC's popcorn chicken. Now available in hot and spicy. Try with our new dipping sauces. KFC, it's finger licking good.
KFC pop, pop, popcorn chicken. Pay nothing down on a shiny, brand new Hyundai vehicle with free loan payment until March 2025. Yes, get a 2024 Hyundai vehicle and get free loan payment until March 2025. 100% financing, 2 years free service, 0 processing fees, and other sweet goodies. Drive into the new year with your new ride. Goodbye, old car. Hello, Hyundai. For free payments promotion. Limited stock available. Offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
Labor Rights West Kingston Youth Forum live and direct at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, this Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Let's interact on how the JLP breaks down barriers to prepare a solid future that hotspot opportunities for all youths in our nation. That is why I vote JLP. Hear from special guest Senator the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, the vibrant West Kingston youths and others. others. West Kingston Youth Forum this Thursday 5 p.m. at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School. Hosted by champion West Kingston MP, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. West Kingston Youths active and strong. See you there.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey. Spurlina build up my confidence. Rastafari run the continent. This King Selassie, you pay the consequence.
It's 8 minutes after 7. Welcome to this week's episode of Nature's Remedies, the program to educate you about the uses of natural herbs. Tonight we're talking about the love bush. Valentine's Day is coming up, so you might want to boil some. As usual, we'll be opening the lines, so, perhaps not tonight. But anyway, the questions you have, we'll take them for resident pharmacognosist Dr. Denise Daly. Hi, Doc.
Good evening.
Hi. Good
How are
evening.
you?
How are you? I'm well. I'm good. And you?
I'm good. Let me
I'm
see.
good.
Let me see if I know if the love bush is what I'm thinking. Is that bush that run up and down and have the pink flowers?
And a pink.
You know, you always
Yellow.
find it with the pink flowers, but it's
Yellow.
actually the yellow vine
Yeah.
Oh.
that's normally stifling those pink flowers.
Yes.
Oh, me know the pink flowers.
No, it's a yellow.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so
Always-
the yellow one is the long stringy looking one?
Yes.
Isn't that a parasite?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Love
And
it.
the
You know
pink
what?
flowers one.
You know what, Doc? That
Gorgeous.
checks out because love can be parasitic. It just will on and
There
just
you go.
yeah,
Just-
yeah, strangle you. Yeah,
No,
no,
you must say yes to
no,
that.
no,
But-
fear, Doc, fear,
Really?
no, fear.
How the plant is characterized, it holds tightly to its host and shares in its nutrients and living and
That sounds good.
in that regard.
And when I was growing up, there was a myth about it.
What's that?
Yeah.
Yes?
You know what that is, Doc?
No, she don't know. Tell me.
Oh, it depends.
Oh.
As a child, the
As a-
childhood myth.
I heard that if you
Yeah.
had a love interest, you would
Yes.
pick it, yes, and throw it on something and call her name.
What kind of Obia Clifford work? What kind of Obia Clifford work? What kind of Obia work? When you tiny people in penny and you hear books when you hear about it.
Yes, man.
You see
What
books
and
about
then-
it? Yeah.
So let me. All right,
That
just for
that's
my
a
benefit,
childhood.
because
Hold on. Yeah, isn't that so, Doc?
That is so, and that's why it's a long bush.
so let me hear
So
the
I
process
call-
though. What's the process,
call
Doc?
the name.
So I pick it.
Just yes.
And then what do I do?
You call your love interest name.
Yes.
Then
You put it
You
on whatever
throw
you
it.
put it. Yes.
yeah, you throw it in the bush or you throw it on something.
Yes.
And then it
You
should grow.
grow.
If it grows,
You know,
they
sir.
love you too.
Yes.
If it don't grow, then
You
you have
salt.
to get over it.
How can I put them on a sitting this?
You never heard it?
All right. No, I never heard that. All right.
Man. So, talk to us about the love bush, Doc.
All right, so the love bush, as we see it in Jamaica, it grows a lot on our trees, large trees, small trees, vines. It has a host plant. There are over 220 species within the Cuscata family. So it's called Cuscata reflexa, the one that we have in Jamaica, or golden dodder. They also call it strangle dodder or strangle herb because of how it hugs onto its host, strangleweed. With the love bush or the strangleweed, it has so many medicinal properties, although it's a parasitic plant. And ironically, one of the benefits of the love bush is that it's good for worm. So it's good to expel worm. If you want a deworm, it's very good to help with that. So it's a parasiticide. So we can make some tea with your love bush, the twines, and you can have that tea and help with getting rid of some of the parasitic worms within the system. So sometimes that's one of the back to school teas that kids will get as well growing up.
Is it bitter?
Not very bitter, but it's not Cersei bitter or neem bitter. It has a little bit of hydrocinamic acid, so it has a slight cinnamon-ish taste, but it's almost blandish.
Okay.
Right? So it's tolerable to be consumed.
And apart from tying people girl picnic, what else is the love bush good for in terms of health wise?
All right. So it's good for as a laxative. So not only to get out worm, but if you're constipated, you can have some love bush tea. Get that out. Yes, you have some love bush tea, and it helps to get your bowels flowing. We want to talk a little bit about the digestive health. Love bush is very good for digestive health. So we mentioned 2 so far: help to expel worms, help with as a laxative. It's also good at increasing the health of your good bacteria within your gut microbiome. So remember the gut microbiome, we have we have trillions of microorganisms living in our large intestine. Now, what allows it to help our bodies or be medicinal is the type of food we consume. If we eat healthier food such as fiber-filled food, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetable, variety of fruits and vegetables, then we tend to have the good bacteria grow. We can also have herbal teas that can help our good bacteria grow while getting rid of the bad bacteria. Love bush is one of those teas that you can have to enhance your gut microbial health.
Okay. So just so I'm clear, Doc, the one with the pink flower, what is that? Because that's the
coal bush.
Coal bush. That's the tea I recall. I don't recall drinking this vine thing, but the one with the pink flower I recall, and that tastes good. That tea tastes good.
Yes, it tastes good. And you'd have it for like griping. You have love bush and the coal bush. Sometimes they boil it together for like griping and digestive issues as well. So they complement each other as well when it comes to the digestive system.
Got you.
Another nature's hint.
Anything that we should be concerned about as it pertains to the love bush?
Yes, as per usual, we always want to ensure that we're not taking medications with your herbs. With love bush, it's very good as a diuretic. It's very good with kidney health. And as such, if you have or if you're on a diuretic drug, you should be avoiding the love bush because you don't want to increase that excessive water loss. You don't want to increase the loss of your electrolytes. So you wouldn't drink your love bush with your medication for high blood pressure or kidney stones, etc. You want to ensure that the medication works and the love bush is at an extremely different time. If persons have severe kidney problems, although it's a herb that's good for the kidneys, if you have severe kidney problems, you should not drink the love bush because, again, you will be giving the kidney a lot of work by getting, as a diuretic, getting that excess water out and your electrolytes and dehydration. So severe kidney problems, don't drink your love bush. Pregnancy and breastfeeding, there's no data to show if there will be any contraindications, so therefore you wouldn't drink the love bush if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. Otherwise, a little and temperance and moderate, you can have your love bush tea.
Okay. 2 questions for you from YouTube. Carlene Smith. Good evening, Carlene. Carlene is asking, is it good for relieving menopausal symptoms?
It is good to help with menopausal symptoms because it has an anti-inflammatory compound. It has in camphorol and quercetin. Now, these have been research shown to help with managing inflammation and helping to normalize the hormonal balance. So in that regard, you can get some relief.
William is asking, what's the name for the love bush, the scientific name?
Cuscata.
Cuscata.
Euscata. And the species, the golden dada or golden cuscata, is reflexa. Cuscata reflexa. We have the Chinese, we have European, you have the Ayurvedic. There's so many different types. And interestingly, they're all aphrodisiac, especially for men's health.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, increase sperm count, prevents premature ejaculation.
Wait, this is the love bush?
This is the love bush.
That's serious piece of bush, this man. Bugs, hear that? It boosts sperm count and increase the volume of ejaculation. How serious piece of bush this?
And premature ejaculation gets
Oh, premature. Oh no, Bugs needs that. Probably needs that. Yeah. Get some love bush, Bugs.
Yeah, so in every culture is used as an aphrodisiac. It's a mild tea, so you're on a date night, have some love bush tea, as a part of the
preparation.
It serves as an aphrodisiac. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So Valentine's night, drink liquor tea.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Hold it for us, Doc. We're going to take a break and come back with more. And you can call us, to speak with Dr. Denise Daly.
What good for your nerves, so what's up and sapata coconut water fi wash off your heart. Hey, nobody coulda said Rasta soft. Me go link Viva fast and never fever grass. Hey, spirulina we blending, so you know I'll be spending every dollar out and me bill foul. Hey, a buckle of the green and it make me queen, say me skill like Alan still cold. If you not get it, you will lose. Make your food be a...
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Calling all West Kingston residents, Nationwide at 5 is coming to you live from the lawns of Tivoli Gardens High School on Thursday, February 13 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come out and hear young people discussing matters of importance. That's right, live on Nationwide at 5, February 13, Thursday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The annual West Kingston Youth Forum at Tivoli Gardens High School with your Member of Parliament, Desmond McKenzie. All this and more, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by West Kingston Constituency Office.
Dr. Denise Daly is a former program director for the College of Health Sciences at the University of Technology. She does seminars on corporate wellness and team building strategies and health and wellness in the workplace. She also offers lifestyle and wellness coaching and offers personalized wellness packages. Dr. Daly is also the co-owner and founder of Nasare R&M Company Limited. All natural skincare products are available for customers. They also do private labeling and customized skincare packages. She can be contacted by email at drdenisedaily@gmail.com for bookings and consultations. She can also be found on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Denise Daly.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey.
20 minutes after 7, you're tuned in to Nature's Remedies here inside Nationwide at 5. I see three of my favorite ladies on YouTube, Marigold Weber, Carlene Smith, and Andrea Henry. They're talking about the love bush. And I'll have you know, Cliff, Books, that the ladies are sure that I do not need the love bush. So, yeah, just for the record, Kirk says he's going to have to stop chopping out the love bush, Doc, because I suspect, like myself here, Kirk thought it was a parasite that should be removed. I thought it was the green one that was under it that was actually the good thing.
It's both.
Both of them.
Both, yes.
Can we find it all across the country, or is it specific to any particular part?
No, all across Jamaica we can find the love bush. And sometimes you'll see it in a tree, sometimes same on the coal bush and other smaller trees as well. So it's no favor in terms of the size of the tree. You just need a hose and it will give it love.
We have a caller for you, Doc. 630-937-124, 618-8255. Rosie, good evening.
Good evening.
What's up, going?
Good evening.
How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Not too bad. I'm Mr. Cliff.
Hi, I'm good.
Yes, I was trying to get you all this time and I can't get you. I don't know how I'm so lucky this evening to get back.
Very well. She's listening. Go ahead.
Okay, Doc. My little grandson have asthma. And I'm taking him to many pediatricians and he still has the asthma. Just coughing. And I hear the wheezing and his stress. I don't know what else to do. You have anything that could help me?
For the asthma?
Yes.
You brought him to the doctor already? And
yes.
Did he get the pump already?
Yes, something, but they're not working. Sometimes they help for a little while and the next time again.
No, Rose, she's asking if you get the pump. The pump
yes,
for
I have
him.
the pump. Yes, I have the pump. I get the pump too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right. So to help and to complement, you can give like a steam, right? So you get some water. If you can get a diffuser and you put some essential oils in it, like your lavender, wintergreen, peppermint. Those are some of the essential oils. If you don't have a diffuser to do that, what you can do is boil some water, and then while it's hot, you pour it in a basin, you put your essential oils, and then you'll have that steam, right? It's similar to what you sometimes do with a cold. And what you do, inhale, and it helps with the clearing the chest and opening up your alveoli, your chest, right? In terms of teas and food, what you can also do is incorporate for tea time some moringa. So these are safe herbs for kids. So moringa. Moringa is safe for kids and it has a lot of medicinal properties. Again, Kid Safe is Leaf Alive, which also has anti-inflammatory properties. So boiling the Leaf Alive, or you can crush it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of lime, and you can help with the asthma, giving him that like daily, similar like a tonic as well.
But it's not 2 years old, you know, it's only a year and 10 months.
Oh, I hear. So very young, so very dilute. Very dilute peppermint and so on. And externally, you can just have the infuser, so he won't be able to put him head over the bucket. So just have it in the room to help to clean the air as well.
And you know what I did make? That I did make a little honey with some onion and garlic.
And you dilute that because you don't want it too strong.
Yes. And give them a little half a teaspoon now and then.
Yeah. So based on it, those are kid-safe herbs that can be used as teas, but continue with the pump and continue with ensuring that the air is sterile, meaning the air around you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor.
Thanks, Rosie.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. 630-937-124, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call discussing the love bush or any other natural remedy question you may have for Dr. Daly. What else should we know about this seemingly miracle bush?
And as I'm one to do, Doc, are we studying this with a view of turning it into a pharmaceutical drug?
At this time, no. But other cultures do. Like Ayurveda, they have it as in powdered form. So they'll have it in powdered form and in teas because it's deeply entrenched in their culture, especially for male fertility, sexual enhancement, and kidney health. So you'll have it here. In Jamaica, I've never seen it in any of our stores. We just have different communities that will boil it and use it as a part of the remedies. It's also added to some of our root drink for male enhancement.
Oh?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
You mean it actually male enhancement in terms of sexual
enhancement, low energy, low stamina. So it's added to some of our root drink. You can have it by itself as a tea, but with your cheney root, your sarsaparilla, those barks, soursop bark, cashew bark that you boil to make a deep roots.
Yes,
it's sometimes added as well.
Okay.
James is on the line for you, Doc. Good evening, James.
Good night, Big Boss.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, James.
Good evening, Doc. Good evening, Mr. Brooks.
Good evening.
Yeah, man. It's just a comment. I didn't know that this bush was so powerful.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a child growing in the country, and it usually grows on a lot of prickly mackles and so forth. We used to just pick it, and you have this a little one. You have your little girlfriend.
Yes.
You would say, oh yes, I want to see if that girl really love me. And you just throw it, pick a piece of it and throw it on another section of the bush. And then if it grows, that girl loves you.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
So hold on. Then, so all the time, if you're waiting on the bush for growth, suppose you get somebody else.
Then she don't love you.
Well, it is just that, growing up in the country and, you older folks will tell you these kind of things. But I didn't know that this bush was so serious, Doc.
Yeah, I never heard of
it.
And it's easy to catch and to grow.
Yes, very easy.
It's very easy. Very easy.
Yeah.
So, Cliff, everything is all right, sir?
Yes, basically.
Oh, okay, boss. Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm enjoying the program.
Very well.
Keep listening.
Keep it locked.
Cliff, one thing you say. And I think I told you this before some time ago. We're having an issue in St. Mary, Cliff. Picking it up,
We're in St. Mary.
Like Port Maria, Galena, that side. It's difficult at times to pick you up sometimes.
At times.
Yes, and sometimes through the junction.
Yes. It's not easy to cover more, some parts of Jamaica, because of the topography and the signal.
But Cliff, are you a station around the Jamaica? So.
All right, sir. Let's say a word.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a young say a word. 630-937-124-618-8255. Michaeli, good evening.
Hi, Ricardo. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine. No, that's I hear you.
Aww. What's on your mind? I'm blushing now. What's on your mind for the doctor?
Ricardo, I want to tell you something about PJ. When he was Prime Minister, not his paint was on Cornwall Regional Hospital. I'm telling you, for type A hospital. PJ, I don't know, he should go back in retirement and stop embarrassing himself. Okay?
Oh, a PJ combo, not the doctor. A PJ combo, not the doctor?
John Jr. was his health minister and he was the worst. Ask him. Have a good night and I love you.
Oh, all right. A PGA combo. All right. Have a good night. 630-937-124-618-8255.
Well,
yeah.
Doc,
Yeah.
Anything more on the love bush before we say good night?
No, that would be it. It's good for skin. So if you have eczema and skin wound, you can boil it up and just add it to your bath and enjoy a little love bush.
Yeah. We need the love bush, especially those of us who don't have no love.
Oh, whenever I
There you go. Yes, indeed.
All right, Dr. Denise Daly, our pharmacognosist, telling us all about the love bush this evening. Thank you, Doc. See you week after next.
Yeah, good night.
Good. And after the break, your calls. Yes, we see the messages. Your calls after the break. You know the numbers, 630-937-124 or 618-8255, 876 before all of those.
Apply for your Sagicor Bank Preferred Prepaid MasterCard today. Load your remittances for everyday spending. Receive cash transfers from any local bank. The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:31.
Labor rights? West Kingston Youth Forum live and direct at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, this Thursday, February 13th at 5 p.m. Let's interact on how the JLP breaks down barriers to prepare a solid future that hotspot opportunities for all youths in our nation. That is why I vote JLP. Hear from special guest Senator the Honorable Dana Morris Dixon, the vibrant West Kingston youths and others. West Kingston Youth Forum this Thursday 5 p.m. at the Edward Siaga Auditorium, Tivoli Gardens High School, hosted by champion West Kingston MP, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. West Kingston youths active and strong. See you there.
Good morning and welcome to the newest addition to the Nationwide News Network family on Hot 102. Good afternoon, I'm Erica Allen. I'm Elizabeth Bennett. In Nationwide News at this hour.
This is Nationwide, I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Carol Narcisse. Morning, welcome to This Morning on Hot 102. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Beverly Anderson Manley. Good morning and welcome.
For 20 years, Nationwide 90 FM has been your trusted source for breaking news, delivering critical updates when you needed them most.
3:37 in the afternoon, we interrupt to bring you more from the Wandon Klansman gang trial. Another guilty verdict.
With fearless, fact-based journalism that unearthed the truth.
Between 2012 and 2018, nearly $5.5 million was taken from the track legend.
And insightful commentary that sparked meaningful conversations and shifted perspectives.
Welcome to the front page. I'm Emily Crooks. I am Naomi Francis. We're pleased to be joined by Roger Clark.
From the stories that shook Jamaica,
We're having an earthquake.
to those that inspired change and left lasting impacts.
In 2014, to be dealing with an issue such as the Marianine case.
Nationwide 90 FM has been there, diving deep into the issues that matter most to you. As we mark 20 years of dedicated service in 2025, we honor the trust you have placed in us and reaffirm our commitment to serving you, the Jamaican people, rooted in truth, fairness, and integrity. We continue to provide incisive reporting with a foundation of accountability and respect. While we celebrate our journey, we are also focused on the future, fueled by the same passion and purpose that has always driven us. Thank you for supporting Team Revolution for 2 decades. Stay with us. The best is yet to come.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're taking your calls now to all that's happened today. 630-937-124-618-8255. Who's first? Chris, good evening. Chris?
Good evening, Chris.
No, not hearing Chris. Joel, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good.
I'm good. Hi, Cliff.
Hi.
Question. The meeting with Mayor Swaby today, was it a council meeting that he addressed the councillors?
Yes.
Oh, it was a council meeting.
Yes.
Did we miss anything? Because I'm quite sure when I listened, even though the audio wasn't quite clear, but did Mayor Swaby made mention about the 3 vacant divisions, that those are like some projects were done even though there weren't any councillors within those divisions? Was anything like that came out? Because I was wondering.
Yes, he repeated that. That was included in his first statement on this issue on January 31, that they did work in some of those divisions which did not have elected councillors alive.
How could that happen?
He said what he did was to consult with the members of parliament, I think.
My understanding is under the law, where there is a vacancy, the mayor of the parish, or well, I'm not sure if it's unique to Kingston and St. Andrew, assumes responsibility for the vacant division?
Okay. That means even without a sitting councillor.
Yes, when there's a vacancy.
The mayor.
Once there's a vacancy, then
Yes.
the MP
The mayor,
can actually...
the mayor assumes responsibility for the vacant division.
Okay. All right. Let me leave that one at that point. Let me just go back now to MP Minister Gillette Cuthbert. She raised some concerns, which was actually played on your program. And she actually asked the mayor to answer a few questions as it relates to monies that were paid over to individuals in her constituency. And she asked for the mayor to respond within 24 hours. I think that was she addressed her meeting on Sunday, and the 24 hours would have been Monday evening. Have we heard anything from the mayor at today's press conference?
In specific response to Cuthbert Flynn's question, no.
All right, so can I ask our well-listened nationwide to follow up on that one for us? Because we need answer now, because this hush money thing, is not going down too good with a lot of Jamaicans,
The mayor said there's no hush money.
There no what?
He says there's no hush money.
Okay. But with a touch a little thing or son, we are do this and we do that. So those are where since he assumed office, he become a very wealthy guy.
Why you say that?
Because of what that audio that we heard with him speaking to somebody, we don't know who he was talking to. But based on how he actually laid the conversation, it meant then that he was out there actively in a lot of constituency to ensure then that we
Providing
show support.
Yes. Okay. I see.
And if this wasn't coming from...
He said today that
Road.
those are funds they privately raised, yeah, as a political organization, as in the PNP.
Right.
Those were not KCMC funds.
But Cliff, if you listen to Satan Campbell,
No. Dr. Dayton Campbell. Campbell.
Yeah, when I listen to Dr. Dayton Campbell, sorry about that, a mispronunciation of the man Christian name. When I listen to Dr. Campbell, he made it well known then that we were shoring up two divisions, which was the Chanceral Division and the Denham Town Division. And that it is for that reason why we were doing what we did. And it never sounded as if we were speaking about money from 89 Old Hope Road. Based on my interpretation, we were speaking about money from 24 Church Street.
Yes, based on what he is on tape as saying. Yes.
Exactly. And then when we heard the tape now with the Mayor Swaby, it tied us right at 24 Church Street, I can't drive past 24 Church Street because that is where my focus is now.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope the mayor answers the questions that are standing.
It's not the mayor alone now. We need every squad to go inside now and start to audit those books. Every single, to include Mocha, every single squad. And I think there are a lot of silent voices right now. I know that if the noise was coming from Belmont Road, the noise would have been a lot louder. But because the noise is coming from 89 Hope Road, then I think a lot of people are very, very quiet.
All right, want to squeeze some more calls, Joe? We have some people waiting. Thanks for the call, though.
All right, then, bro.
Chris, good evening.
Greetings to you, sir.
How are you?
Very well, Ricardo.
Good.
How are you, Mr. Hughes?
I'm good, Chopper.
Awesome. Well,
You know, the man say to stop calling him Chopper.
me ask him about the boy, I tell you. It's all right, you know. I realize that the PNP is trying to play one of those walk the dog tricks. So you send out poor PJ and thinking that the Jamaican people are going to be focusing on PJ's utterances and bypass significant arguments about that hush money at the municipal corporation in Kingston. Well, I tell you what, we can ride on with you know, and that we will do. Because we are not going to leave that one unturned. Because if it is that the PNP believe that we are going to overlook that hush money scandal at the municipal corporation, they'll think again. Cliff, Jamaican people must recognize something, you know. If it is, Ricardo, that you are in opposition, and this is the posture you are taking as it relates to how the country's money is managed, and you're in opposition, you're just merely hanging on by a thread to a municipal corporation, and you start to handle funds the way you're handling them now. Can you just imagine if the Jamaican people ever made the mistake they made in 1989 and in 1972 and not vote for the JLP in the next election? Can you imagine? That if they can handle themselves, they conduct themselves in this manner now, I can just imagine if they have full control of the government coffers. Now, let me just let me just look at Uncle PJ for a moment. You know, it is one of those things that you trod lightly, because as an elder statesman, I said to myself, Mr. Patterson would have done his time, and the period in which PJ Patterson was Prime Minister for Jamaica will go down in history as perhaps the worst period in this country's history. Not even 1972 to 1980 under Michael Manley, we would have seen the devastation that we saw under PJ Patterson. And for him to come out criticizing, look at roads. It is under PJ Patterson who we got this term about pothole free by 2003. And he have a nerve to come out now criticizing the government about road infrastructure and healthcare. PJ Patterson, 14 years, and the PNP overall, 18 and a half years. They have never built a single police station, nor a single hospital in this country. What the PNP did was to take over public buildings, for example, homes in some areas, and community centers, converting them into police stations. And you're coming here now to criticize this government when you inherited a murder rate of 434 murders, and by 2007 you rack it up to over 1,600. Come on, Mr. Patterson. You said you were going to stay in the pavilion, and I heard Mr. Hughes making the recommendation this morning that you should perhaps go back in the pavilion and take a seat. And I'm going to echo those sentiments. I think Mr. Patterson, respectfully, as an elder statesman, go back in the pavilion, take several seats, and don't expose yourself anymore. And if the PNP believe that using you as a decoy is going to work, think again. It's not going to happen.
What I've been trying to work out, Chris,
yes, sir,
is what would have motivated Mr. Patterson to come out of retirement after almost 20 years?
It is one of two things, Cliff. It is either Mr. Patterson believes that the PNP stands a very good chance at winning and he wants to be on the team, or it's a case of desperation on the part of the PNP and poor judgment on the leader. Because the last time the leader made that mistake and pulled, I think he went for Omar Davis, and that never went well. And Omar Davis, in the grand scheme of things, is absolutely no different from Percival James Patterson.
But can I
cut from the same cloth?
Can I say though, Chris, if the two reasons you offered, Cliff, as to why he decided to leave retirement and make these comments, they're not persuasive to me because they don't really make political sense. Here is why. One, it seems to me that in politics you always have figures who are lightning rods, right? I think if Michael Manley were still alive, he'd probably be a lightning rod that would cause laborites to rally, right, and consolidate opposition. I think PJ Patterson has that characteristic. Yeah, you talk to the laborites; they have very strong views about his time in government. And then there are people, young people, who are now voting age, who do not remember or do not even know a lot of what I see being unearthed, just, reposted and brought up online. So a whole generation of Jamaicans who perhaps didn't know the history is now being introduced or reintroduced to the history because of Mr. Patterson's comments. Either way, I think that's a bad thing for the People's National Party, because you give the Labour right something to latch on to and unite around, which is not a good thing. You wake up the base. And then there's a whole generation of voters who you are now informing of a time that you have been saying, that's People's National Party, that we should move on from and judge the last 9 years. So as a messaging matter, a communication matter, political communication, it don't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's a blunder on their part, because either way you take it, it is not a good thing, because if it is that he had a good past, if Mr. Patterson's era was one of prosperity and growth and development for Jamaica, I could understand that. I could match a PJ Patterson with an Eddie Seaga any day, because if you look at the economy, then you have something to talk about. But Mr. Patterson's tenure was dismal. It's a disaster, and the PNP should hide Mr. Patterson as far from the politics as they possibly can. I remember when Portia Simpson Miller took office, and Cliff, you might recall, when Portia Simpson Miller took office in 2011, 2012, they joined, I think it's the PSOJ and the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, don't quote me, but I know it was a joint group, who wrote to the then Prime Minister-elect and advised her not to include Dr. Davis in the cabinet as finance minister, as it would send a wrong signal to the business community. These things happen because of what P.J. Patterson presided over. It is a poor judgment on the part of Mark Golding to reintroduce a dinosaur, a political dinosaur who has a history that cannot withstand any scrutiny in this country. And I think Mr. Patterson has just lost political credibility. We look to him just recently when we're having a debate about the constitutional reform program. And we look to people like P.J. Patterson, we look to people like former Prime Minister Bruce Golding to give us their insights on what they believe. But no, with this utterance coming out of P.J. Patterson mouth, there's no advice that he could produce that I would take without a whole crocus bag full of salt.
Thanks,
None
Chris.
whatsoever.
Thanks, Chris.
Even just friends.
I don't think the former Prime Minister. Let's say the time signal and come back.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
11 minutes to 8.
I was making the point. I don't think the former Prime Minister Bruce Golding would mind me saying we reached out to him.
Oh yes,
this afternoon, right? We thought elder statesman for elder statesman, share your perspectives on what we've heard. Do you know what he told us? He sees no role for an elder statesman wading into politics. No role. And despite our best efforts, myself and Dana, I think when we get together, we can be pretty persuasive. Bruce Golding was not moved. He said there's absolutely no role for an elder statesman in politics.
And he's not prepared to re-enter the fray.
No. I think it was instructive.
Yeah.
And the point Chris made was absolutely correct. Because you need those people who you can say they are no longer, again to borrow from the former Prime Minister Patterson, they're no longer on the field.
Yeah.
They are in the pavilion.
Right.
So they can be called upon, their experience, their wisdom, without the cloud or the cloak of politics, partisan politics, to help guide the discussions along. I fear Chris is right. Mr. Patterson
has squandered that.
Yeah.
And those people are needed.
Absolutely, especially now.
Yes.
Especially now.
Yeah. You need to have those elders around with the requisite experience and knowledge to say, listen, you may want to do it this way versus that way because in 1958
here is what we dealt with, how we resolved it.
You need that. I don't see the JLP looking to Patterson for that now.
And that's unfortunate. I think the country suffers as a result. Richie, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening, Richie.
I listened to your commentary this morning.
Yes, sir.
And you asked one question 2 times. This morning and now. You asked why did Patterson read there? I don't tell you why I believe read there. If you listen, you did not hear none of those men in the PMP party like the leader. Dr. Jaden Campbell not even in the meeting. So I think they set up bait for him and he picked the bait and get caught. So, but anyway, I do not see Mr. Patton as a man with, any good record from day one. He was the finance minister for, who was again? Mr. Manley.
Yes, for a time, yes.
Yes. And if because of the Iran sugar deal.
That was before he became finance minister.
Yes,
it was the shell waiver, the so-called shell waiver scandal.
Yes.
It caused him to demit office.
He was fired because of it. And that is the first bad thing I know about that man. But anyway, you talk about poverty in Jamaica. And when you talk about it, even the rest of things, you know, my blood boil. And the reason why I say that, I know it was under his watch. Why the dollar reached 150 to 1? Because they mismanaged the economy, implement a policy cheaper to import more than to produce, and send the country crashing. No. He talked about the poverty, and I said I'm very, very disappointed because under his watch, those things that almost everything bad went wrong because of that. Because of that is mismanagement. You know, I can't remember. You have like public sector workers was on wage fee for 10 years. The poor little people and like the barbers and those people pay it was $60,000 a year for tax. Remember those days? This tax 1 cigarette, baby Pambas tax, that's how far they carry country to. And the youth did not have any employment, so the farm gangs. And this government take up the country with 380 gangs caused by his administration. So, I cannot understand why PJ made them dry out that he come to really talk the things that he talk. And, destroy his reputation even than what it was because, and that's the things which people did not know, you know. Even younger people, because I listened last night, you talked to Ricardo, and a lot of things that you mentioned, they did not know. I can remember, I keep telling you, I follow Michael Mann for years before I could vote. And in 1969, when Michael Mann won the election, I was supposed to vote, you know. And when I reached to the police station, I was late about 15 minutes. Someone said to me, "You wasted because somebody vote in your name." And the PJ watch, I can remember, more PMP people vote more than what was on the voters list. Am I wrong, Cliff?
Yes, I don't think you're getting it right. When you say under PJ's watch, what do you mean?
When PJ prime minister, when he was a prime minister, more people vote.
But you can't fault Patterson for that. Right. Yeah? That was a systemic weakness we had in the organization and conduct of elections.
Yes.
When certain garrisons, and the PNP had the majority of them. Yeah? Portia, Southwest St. Catherine, and what is now Mark Golding, South St. Andrew, are the two famous ones where they will just vote out the boxes.
But can you remember these things that matter JLP?
Yes, that happened in some JLP garrisons too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't say that was his fault then?
That's what I'm saying. You can't put that down to him.
Okay. But overall, I'm saying though, I'm very, very disappointed about him to know that he come to talk the things that he talk.
Yeah.
Very much. As I said already, He
All right,
is the
Richie.
one who caused the dollar to reach 151 to 1.
All right, Richie. What a lot of people don't know, Ricardo, is that Michael Manley came back to power in February 1989. And within a year, he had fallen ill. Yeah? And it is known in the PNP at the time, Patterson was effectively running the country within a year of, by 1999, early 91. Yeah, Patterson was effectively the Prime Minister, yeah, running the country and the government. Yeah? So, there you have it. There you have it. Well. This story is not over.
The YouTubers.
Yeah, it's not over. It's going to carry on because I think it is going to be increasingly difficult for the chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Mayor Andrew Swaby, yeah, to get out of this. Yeah, this can you identify that voice note in the George rap where he just went on about what he did, yeah, to help his comrades, yeah. I think this voice note from Mayor Swaby is devastating for him, yeah. Based on what we now know, and we don't know what else is to drop.
And the worst thing you can have is a dripping pipe.
Yes.
In your home, in politics, it's one of the worst things.
This is what Mayor Swaby was caught on tape last December saying.
I have tried in my way to help to gel the thing together. I talk to Charmaine, I talk to Charmaine's sister, I talk to other people in that constituency. I want even tell us say for me go this with the sports team I keep on Angela over 3 dinner. And me and Bull and them and I talk. And in my little way I try and help them. That because I say boy, if when the time come me can't, if they don't need me talk to them, I can't talk. Even Christmas me help them enough. Even Christmas me send something to go give them. I mean, do it deliberately so, and I go to the car and say, me want to be in a position for us, boy, then if I'm a bother, and we can talk to them. Me know the role within the play when other man can money come give them. That's why me that try to say, let me talk to them to make sure, say, we will grill the thing up, then can say, PNP now, PNP in our mind.
Yeah.
So, and everything me do, a man can say, me talk, me do, me help in the Christmas, yeah, me go far and wide. You understand me? Come here, all the sit down, I will look for it like I said, ABC, because we know we target Central Kingston to win. We know that. I mean, I look for who I run, me I look for and say, me want PNP win. And my backside of the door when we have an MP and a Central Kingston, the bar that them come closer to me. They have more than one interest. Why me want Central Kingston? You know?
Mayor Swaby is a councillor for the Vineyard Town Division of Southeast St. Andrew, yeah, which is across the border from Central Kingston.
Yes.
All right. That's where we're going to leave it this evening. Thanks to our callers, or YouTubers, or WhatsAppers, or tweeps, or producer Dana Davey, or technical operator Andrew Anderson, and of course members of the news and production team led by our editor Cara Powell. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Labor rights.